Right on time, sort of. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this month's live stream. Got a bunch of people in. Clint from Black Box Cages is in. So if you have cage questions, that's your guy. I have Dolly right here just now, right as I hit live, starting to crawl up onto my hat. And a whole bunch of other people in. Hi, everybody. Danielle's in, Mystic Drake, Corey, Azar is in, Crisis Corpse, Joe Last. We got a whole bunch of Patreon folks. Lake to Land Aquatics, Dark Moon Dragon, Reg Sonia, Phil is in. Hi, everybody. Sorry if I miss anyone. Amy Henderson is here. Brady Bentley is here. Brady's lovely wife, Amy, is not here. She's usually with me. But she has a lot going on this evening. So she might be here later. She might join us. But as of now, she's not with us. So everybody say hi to Amy anyway, because she'll watch it later. But she said that she's trying to get her stuff done so that she can jump on at some point during the live stream tonight. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Hi, everybody. Oh, man. Dolly's trying to take my hat off. she's a heavy girl. So I was going to bring Stella out to start off because Stella's just in the other room, in the snake wall room. And I went in there to just grab her because she's usually just sort of on the floor or just cruising around the room. But if she's actually on the snake wall, it's hard to get her down because she's wrapped up in everything. And she is currently on the snake wall. And then I have a couple other snakes that are out right now. Oh, Danielle, thanks for the super chat. First super chat of the night, which reminds me here, I'll talk about the snakes that I have out in just a second, but that reminds me to let you guys know, and I'll let people know a couple times just because more people will jump in later. But if you have a question for me, there's a good chance that I won't see it if you just type it out. But if you just write it out in the chat, keep an eye on the chat because there are many people that will answer your question for you. If you want me specifically to see it, put it in a super chat and I will see it. If I don't, someone will flag me. That's usually Amy, but I'm sure somebody else will send me a text or something. Todd, thanks for the super chat. If you have a question to go along with that, let me know. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat here for a minute. And that's I appreciate that though. Thanks for that super chat. Second one of the night. So I have a couple other snakes out right now. As I was saying, I have Handsome Dan is up in that hide right there. He's been out since early this morning. And oh, I have Damara. Watch this. I made a little video because I checked on Damara. Hang on. Danielle just did another super chat. I literally cannot not typo. It's who I am. Oh, did you do a typo? I didn't even notice. You said ho horde. That didn't seem like a typo to me. I thought you were just saying ho horde. Thanks, Danielle. I appreciate you. Anyway, I just made this video a few minutes ago because I can't, the way the camera's set up, I can't turn it and move it. But let me just show you where Damara is right now. This is also where she's been since this morning. Here we go. Hey guys, here's where Damara is as I set up for this live stream. It's a good spot for her. She's been there since this morning, and she probably will be there until I pull her out of the couch. So she's usually, she tends to stay under the couch. And this morning, when she was wanting to come out, and I let her out, and she was just all over the place. She was all over the room, which she normally doesn't do. But I think she was looking for a new spot to be. Like she didn't just go to her regular spot that she always goes to. And she was getting herself into trouble. She was getting into places that I didn't really want her to be. And so I set her in my lap and she stayed there for a while. And then she slowly crawled off and under the pillows, which I'm sure is a delightful spot for her. That's where she chose to be. So let me go back to the comments here. Hi, Jen. Jen from Black Box Cages says hello to everybody. Jen and Clint are usually right there together, but Clint is the one who pushes the buttons on the keyboard to say things. I'm trying to keep my hat on as Dolly moves herself around. Dolly's one of my only adult female ball pythons that are available, just because she's not in breeding season right now. Brandiala is saying, Bob, what do you really think of that all-in-one controller thing? like when I talked about it in the video, I wasn't being real, but now I can be real. It's great. I got to test it out, and it seems like a great product. The unit that I had is a demo unit. They only have a handful of demo units right now, and so it doesn't have full functionality of what it's supposed to have. But they are going into production. I don't know when, but pretty soon. But right now it's a Kickstarter thing. So they've got these demo units so that you can try them out. And it seems like it's awesome. It seems like it works great. I liked it a lot. But it wasn't one for me to keep. They are sending me one to keep once they go into production, and it'll be a fully functional one. So once I have that, I can test everything that's available for me to test. You know, as far as what my cages do, I don't use humidifiers, so I can't test that function. But I can tell you what I think of the regular produced thing once I get it. But I really liked what I got to look at for, you know, for the demo model, at least. Lori Weiser, so good to see you. Thank you for that super chat. You're awesome. Looks like you have Marie on your hat. Yes. You know what? Dolly looks just like her sister Marie, who is currently at Lori's home. Lori got, so Dolly is from my first clutch that I ever produced, and Marie, who is, I think, pretty much the same morph. Is that right, Lori? I probably not exactly. There's probably a couple things that are different, but anyway, Marie's lovely, and I think bigger than Dolly. Is that right, Lori? Is she bigger? Anyway, she's a delightful snake. Both of them are. Thanks for that. Thanks for that super chat. Tim's in with Intrepid Exotics, quickly in and out because he's got to feed some snakes. He's got some really big ones that might be eating today. Hi, Tim. Good to see you, man. Glad you jumped in. Peter Hoffman, thanks for the super chat. Let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. A bit bummed. I was hoping to watch this stream with my new baby, but sadly his delivery window was missed this week. And Nasi should be here next week. Oh man, that's a bummer when you're waiting on a snake. I assume it's a snake when you say new baby, not an actual human baby being delivered. But that is a bummer when you're expecting a snake on a certain day and then it doesn't happen. But congrats on the new one though. That's awesome. That's very cool. Thanks for that super chat. Lori says, yes, I'm assuming that's yes, that Marie is bigger than Dolly at the moment. Okay. Dolly, Tim says he's not completely gone, just crazy busy, but going to be back in the mix soon. I'm glad you have us here while you're feeding snakes. I have a feeling that a lot of people watch this live stream, whether it's actually live or the recorded version later. I would imagine that many people are cleaning snakes, feeding snakes, stuff like that while it's on, so they're not really seeing it. Unless, you know what? Let's just restart you here, young lady. Yeah. Okay. So don't take my mic off, Bill. All right. So what do we got here? Oh, so tonight this is interesting. I'm drinking Ardbeg 10 tonight, or I will be in a minute here. And this is my favorite. I mean, it's one of my favorite scotches. I have a couple, Ardbeg and Lafroig, and then there's a couple different expressions of Ardbeg. But as far as the maker of Scotch, Ardbeg is one of my very favorites. I haven't had a drink of anything. I usually only drink whiskey, but I haven't had a drink of anything since January. Not because I'm trying to like have a dry February or anything like that, February, March, but because I'm eating healthier. And if I don't drink alcohol, that helps me to eat healthier. So, but I do have this bottle of Ardbeg that's almost gone. And I've already had dinner tonight and I did it responsibly. So I will drink some of that Ardbeg. Todd Webb, thanks for the super chat. I have an 8-month-old ball python and my hot side is 92, 75 humidity, and my cold side is 84. 90 humidity is 90% humidity, not high. I mean, you're not going to be 90 all the time. It's fine. You know, I always say that you want your humidity for a ball python between 60 and 80% generally. But a lot of times, especially if a ball python's in shed, I'll kick it up to 90. Or if I've just cleaned everybody's cages and put new substrate in, oftentimes the humidity will be 90 for a while because the substrate just has more moisture in it because I just broke down the block with water, you know. So you're probably okay with that. You know, your temps don't need to be quite that high, 92 and 84. You could be like 88 and as low as 88 and 78 or 76, you know, something like that. So for my ball pythons, I generally keep them under 90 on the warm side. But you know, it's kind of what your snake prefers too. If you dropped your temps down a little bit and you noticed that your snake was always on the warm side, that means that they like it warm, and so you might kick it up a little bit more. So it's always dependent on the individual. Red Sonia, thanks for the super chat. Tomorrow is Pie Day and my birthday. Oh, so eat pie and celebrate. Red Sonia, happy birthday. That's fantastic. You were born on a very smart day. That's great. Thanks for that super chat. Okay, let's see. Hold on one second. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. All right. Okay, Jenna, thanks for the super chat. I'm drinking Slane Castle Irish. It's my birthday today. Oh, happy birthday, Jenna. That's awesome. I'm spending it with all of you awesome folks. Okay, so to the birthday people, Red Sonia and Jenna, and anybody else whose birthday it is, happy birthday. Slancha. Man. Oh, that Ardbeg's good. It's good stuff. When you haven't had it in a while, and then it hits differently. So good. Oh, Crisis Course. Oh, did I hit that? I didn't even realize that I hit that. Thanks for the super chat, Crisis Course. Please wish my ball python a happy 21st. She's still going strong. That's awesome. Happy 21st to that ball python. I love hearing when people have older ball pythons. That's great. Okay, I'm going to try to redirect the snake. I'll probably grab a different snake here pretty soon. Let's not go on the mic though. Okay. So there we go. We got human birthdays, snake birthdays. It's great. Okay. Man, that she did that so fast. It was almost like she, on purpose, wanted to drop my mic. All right, so I'm going to put her back. Hang on. There we go. All right. Mike is coming back on. There we go. And Dolly's back. Lady Bratface, thank you for the super chat and fantastic question. Yes, I do. The peaty, smoky scotches are my favorite. And Ardbeg is definitely, you know, if you don't like peated scotches or smoky scotches, it is not the one for you because it's strong, highly peated, highly smoky. And then my other favorite is Lafroig, which also is heavily peated, heavily smoky, really good stuff. It's like I've described it before as leather being thrown into a campfire and then rolled in garden soil and set out to dry over the sea brine. I guess it would be dry anyway, right? Set out to sit over sea brine that's maybe washed in sea brine. That's what it should be. And then washed in sea brine and set out to dry in the morning sun. How about that? Doesn't sound delicious. Those things don't sound delicious if you put all that in your mouth, but in a drink, it's amazing. Oh, also barbecue, big time barbecue. I forget that. So you take all that big pile of stuff that's been sea brine and you barbecue it with a whole bunch of bacon. That's the description right there. And really, the only thing that I said that should sound delicious to probably most of you is bacon, right? Just normally that's good. But yeah. Oh man, John, I love the Lafroig commercials. You guys look up Lafroig commercials online. I think they're only online because it's people in Scotland drinking Lafroig and then describing it, and they say stuff like this, like making out with the chain smoking walrus. It's so funny, the descriptions that they give. And in the Lafroig commercial, you've got people that hate it, like they try it and they absolutely can't deal with it. And they show that it's not just everybody loving it, which I think is great. And the descriptions are fantastic. All right, I'm resetting this mic a little bit. How about that? That's probably better. Okay, we haven't even gotten, what are we, 3 hours into this live stream already? Oh, 17 minutes. Okay. We haven't even started the Patreon questions. As you all know, we have questions that Patreon has sent in. That's what we use for the Q&A. That's on my clipboard here. And I'll just say this again one more time because we have probably double the people that were here last time I said it. But if you have a question for me, put it in the chat. If you want to put it in the chat, I'm probably not going to see it. But other people that will know the answer, hopefully, to your question will answer. So if you put a question in the chat, just watch the chat for the answer. If you specifically want me to see your question or your comment, super chat it, and then I'll see that. And if I don't, someone will flag me and let me know that I missed a super chat. One would hope that someone will flag me because I'm used to Amy flagging me. And she's not here. I think I've got all the super chats though, right? Have I missed any? I don't think I've missed any so far. Okay. Here we go. We're jumping in with the. Oh, by the way, I'm feeding snakes today, and there was a live stream, I think a couple live streams ago, where I fed Pip in my hand, and I think we're going to do that again because she's due to eat today. Harry Vanderspiegel's due to eat today. I might try to hand feed him as well. These are little tiny snakes that can fit in my hand, and I think Harry would probably eat out of my hand, even though he's more shy. And then Maya, who's roaming around back there, is due to eat today, as well as a whole bunch of other snakes. But as far as snakes that I could feed that you could see would be Maya. Oh, Detective Inspector Rorschach right there is going to eat tonight, so we could feed him on camera later. And then the two little tiny snakes. So Fizzy, thanks for the super chat. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, that's helpful because the more people that hit like, the more the YouTube algorithm will decide to pick it up and show the live stream to other people. Thanks for that reminder, Fizzy, and thanks for the super chat. All right, we are, hang on. we're on to the Patreon questions, of which we have quite a few. These are always great questions and usually are helpful to many people. All right. Benny Hoskins says, I've got a subadult little lavender that's very thin. When I got her about 6 months ago, she was over a year old and only weighed 280 grams. It's very small for a year-plus ball python. She's gained 100 grams, and I offer a small frozen thawed rat weekly, but getting her to accept a meal is hit or miss. Okay, so she's not a great eater. When she is in superfood mode, the few days after eating, can I offer another meal? Any advice on how often I should offer food or tips in getting her nutrition back on track? I would say no. If she's already eaten, especially a small, that's a pretty good size meal. It's not too big, but it's a good size meal for a snake that is, 350 to 400 grams. Small is great. And if she's already eaten a small, that's a good meal for the next week or two. And so there's no rush to get, a snake that has been not even slow grown, but maintenance fed. We call that maintenance feeding, when a breeder has snakes that they're going to sell, and basically they just feed the snake enough to keep it alive, which I don't think is cool. Generally doesn't do long-term damage to the snake, although I believe that for breeding snakes that are growing up to breed, if you do that for too long, it probably affects them internally. That's just my guess. But generally the snake will get back up to weight just fine. But there's no rush to do it. So if you've got a snake that's not eating every meal, you're offering every week, and it's hit or miss, I would just offer once every 2 weeks. Not a big deal. Maybe every 10 days, every 14 days, something like that, is fine. And if you're offering that small rat, they'll grow. You'll see growth, and then eventually you'll get to a medium. There's no rush to do it though, because they'll catch up. All right. Here we go. Debbie says, what are some things you should ask a breeder or look out for when purchasing your first ball python? Is it better to purchase at a reptile show so you can handle the snake and see its temperament? That's a great question. Some things to ask if you're just talking to a breeder, asking them what the snake is eating, knowing how old it is, how much does it weigh, those questions that we were just talking about. And then what's the snake eating? Is it on live? Have they tried frozen thawed? If you're interested in feeding frozen thawed, stuff like that, making sure that the breeder knows the genetics and, that kind of stuff. Whatever information you want to know about the snake, obviously. But, as far as if it's a snake that they've had maybe for sale for a long time, and it possibly has an older picture on Morph Market, ask for a recent picture, just have them go and pick the snake up and click a picture and send it to you, stuff like that. And yeah, a lot of times it is better to buy at a show for people that want to have the experience of handling the snake, seeing the snake, but I would also say that if you just run into a random breeder at a reptile show, just run outside or run to the other side of the show or whatever and do a quick Google search, because just because a breeder is vending at a show doesn't mean that they're necessarily a reputable breeder. The people who run shows don't necessarily do background checks on everybody before they let them in. So, it's just like buying from someone on the internet. You don't really know who they are. They might have a booth and a banner, but that doesn't mean that they're a great breeder. So, that's the one thing if you're buying at a show. And also make sure that you're buying from somebody that looks like they've taken care of their animals. Their stuff is clean. There are vendors that, I've seen vendors at shows that are clearly dirty and their stuff probably has mites. I've heard from other vendors at shows that, they set up at a show and the person next to them has snakes with mites. And they're like, I'm not doing those shows anymore because they have the, So anyway, you just have to be a little bit careful. The vast majority of vendors at shows are reputable, clean, their snakes are healthy, but just keep an eye on that as you're going through. That's what I would say. Okay. All right. Joe Lass says, other than keeping the soil moist, are there tricks to keeping the humidity up in enclosures, especially large ones? What's your opinion on misters? Can they annoy certain snakes? Yeah, so that's two questions. To the first one, a big enclosure is tough because it's easier to dry out. But covering, if you have a screen top, obviously cover that. You want some sort of airflow going through. So don't completely cover vents. But like right now, these cages right behind me get a little dry too fast. And I'm going to be moving things around. And once I move those cages out, I'm going to be covering half the vents to help with that. So that's helpful. I'll get to your next part of your question in a second. Jen from High Viz Pythons. Hi, Jen. This is my tardy tax. I'm multitasking with my day job. That's nice of you to super chat a tardy tax. Appreciate you being here. Jen, that was nice. Okay, so next question is, what's your opinion on misters? Can they annoy certain snakes? It's not an annoyance. It's that if you don't keep them clean, they can make your snake sick. So first of all, most snakes are not tropical, and it's not necessary. It's not needed. You can keep the humidity up in most cages naturally by making the substrate wet. You don't need a mister or a fogger. The idea that they get snakes sick is if you have if you're not great at cleaning and you never clean out that mister or fogger, it could develop bacteria and pump that bacteria into the cage. But I will say that people with tropical species that require misters and foggers, that's not a problem for them. Like if you need to do it, then you just make sure that you clean out the components of your mister or fogger, and it's not a problem. You just have to clean it. So it's not going to be bad for the snake if you clean it. But for most species, and definitely with ball pythons, it's unnecessary. There are easier, cheaper ways to raise humidity. Okay, in my opinion, at least. I'm sure some people love their foggers or misters, whatever. All right, next one. Leah St. Clair has several questions. We'll see if we can rapid fire these. I don't know. So Leah says, you addressed this recently in that amazing video with Tara Strong. Oh, I'm glad you like that one. I enjoyed doing it. But my daughter Nimue demanded that I ask again, how do snakes hear? Nimue, that's such a great question. And I love talking about it, so I don't mind answering it again. Snakes don't have ears. If you look at the side of their head, they don't have ears. So how do they hear, right? They have a bone in the back of their head that kind of acts as an eardrum. I forget what it's called, but it doesn't matter. It just kind of acts as an eardrum. So if you plug your ears and have your mom talk to you, or you talk and listen to how that sounds, that might be how a snake perceives sound. That might be what it sounds like to a snake. Maybe, just because if it's inside their skull, that's kind of, we're hearing stuff rattling around inside our brain when we plug our ears, or rattling inside our head, our skull, right? When we plug our ears. So they don't hear very well. They don't hear very well, but they can pick up on sound, and it's from deep inside their head, in the back of their skull. Pretty weird, right? Okay, next question. What's your favorite kind of pizza? I'm hungry, LOL. Great question, Leah. Meat lovers. Just pile a bunch of meat on it. That's what I go with. Number 3. I want to set up a really big enrichment enclosure for my ball pythons, but I'm not sure what size to do. Enrichment enclosure meaning what I did with Max in that short video that I posted, where I put him in the bottom cage of this stack, which doesn't have any snake in it. It's just got some shelving and stuff, and I just let him crawl around in it for enrichment. It's a great idea if you have an extra cage. So anyway, you're saying it'll need to accommodate several different ages, not all at once. I can't just let my snakes free roam with cats, dogs, and children. What size should I do? So if you're getting a cage, just do the biggest you can afford or the biggest you can put in your house. But I also recommend an enclosed dog playpen. It's going to be way cheaper, and you can just get that on Amazon. That's what I use for most of my smaller snakes. You can even put a bigger snake in there. You know, I don't have the biggest one. I have like a medium-ish. I don't know what size it is, but those playpens are way cheaper than getting a cage. But if you want a cage, just get the biggest thing you can afford and the biggest thing you can put against a wall. You know, that'll be cool. Either one of those would be great for enrichment for your snakes. And then Leah's last question. Oh, it's not a question. She says, no question. Just wanted to say I always appreciate you and what you do. Oh, that's really nice. Thanks, Leah. I appreciate that. Okay. Stephen says, I have a 4x2x2 PVC enclosure, but the entire top is screen. What's your best advice on how to seal the top so I can switch to heat panels and keep better humidity? Okay, so there's a couple things here. As far as sealing the top, the screen top, just get HVAC tape, foil tape, and tape the top of it, you know, from the outside, top down. You could do that with gaff tape too, or something like that, but foil tape is what most people do. And then a heat panel usually is placed at the top of a PVC cage, like at the top of a piece of PVC. You can't really attach it to screen, so you would have to replace your screen top with PVC to hold a heat panel. But what I would do is once you cover that, it's not. I mean, once you cover the screen, you shouldn't have much of a problem with humidity if you're using a CHE or a deep heat projector or anything from above. You know, you cover everything else around that heating device, and then your humidity should be okay because it's not going to escape through the entire mesh screen. So let's see. All right. Oh yeah, Clint at Black Box has a good idea. Silicone mats work really well. Yeah, I've heard of other people using silicone mats. They look better too than tape, you know. Where am I at here? Next page. That's where we're at. Next page. Oh, should we get another snake? Let's just get let's see where Stella is. If I can get her, I'll get her. She's still on the wall though. Oh yeah, I can get her. Here we go. Hey lady, what are you doing in here? What are you doing? Hi, come here. Okay. Let's have some Stella shenanigans. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my mic off right now, because why would I even try to have a microphone on me when I've got Stella here? All right. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. Reptile Basics makes a mesh attachment for RHPs. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. So maybe you can have a heat panel with a screen. Okay. Everybody say hi to Stella. She's had an entire room to herself all day long today. It's a little crazy. Let's see if she stays. If she can just sit on my hat, she might decide to stick around. Let's see. All right. Birdie says, my 2.5-year-old ball python, 2 of them, haven't eaten since mid-January. Do you think it's seasonal? Any advice? No, I don't think it's seasonal. I never think it's seasonal, even though it can be seasonal. I never just assume it is. I've got some videos on the channel that talk about how to get your snake back on food, but the first thing that I would try is switch it up. Like if they're on rats, you could try a mouse, see if they'll take a mouse. And then, in the vein of switching it up, you could also switch up their cage. You could change their substrate, move things around, switch their hides in different spots, stuff like that. A lot of times, if a snake has their cage completely restructured, they'll take a meal. So those are a couple things you could do. And then in those videos, there's a ton of other things that you could try. Let's see. I'm getting a text. Hang on one second. Let's make sure. It's my mom, you guys. I've been in since the beginning, but it's on my Kindle and I can't comment. And I'm busy making cookies and pulling some clothes together for overnight. Mom and Dad are going on a road trip tomorrow, you guys. Mom, I'm glad you're here at least. I'm glad you're listening. She just wanted everyone to know that she's here. Okay. Oh. All right. Let's see if we can keep control of Stella as we answer questions. Tiffany says, do you recommend having a backup thermostat, like having two thermostats with one plugged into the other as a safety backup, or is it okay if you just have one thermostat with its own safety shut off like a herpstat? Yeah, no need to plug a thermostat into a thermostat. Don't do that. It's always nice to have an extra thermostat laying around just in case something happens. But if you're using herpstat, it's fine. The expensive ones are herpstat, Vivarium Electronics. I wouldn't worry too much about those. And even, there's other ones that are much cheaper that you can buy on Amazon, that some people rail against, but there's really no reason to rail against them. They do just fine. Especially if you have like one snake, you're not trying to, most of my thermostats are herpstats and Vivarium Electronics, but I have lots of snakes. So I'm plugging multiple things into those. All right. Got some people saying hi to my mom. That's nice. Mom and Dad are going car shopping. They've been car shopping for a few weeks to find Dad a new car, and he's very specific about what he wants, and he's finding these cars far away. So they'll take a road trip if he sees that somebody's got this vehicle that he wants for sale. They'll take a road trip for the day to go look at it, and they've done it 2 or 3 times so far and come up with nothing. So we'll see what happens. I think they're going to Montana tomorrow. They live in Idaho. They're going to drive over to Montana. All right, Stella, here. Why don't you just hang out up here? What if you just were still? What if you just sat there like all the other snakes do? Do you always have to be moving? Let's see, where are we at here? Okay, Amy Henderson says, how do you handle renting, leasing, and having reptiles? I'm about to move and get my first snake. And I'm nervous about landlord restrictions in Los Angeles. Well, I live in a place where that allows pets. I mean, it's a pet, like you have to have a pet to live here, which is kind of cool. It's only, I think it's only 8 units, but the rule for years here has been you got to have a pet. And the landlord, when I moved in, when I came to look at this place, I told him, I said, not only do I have a pet, I have lots of snakes. And he was like, oh, I used to keep boas, no problem. So you just have to find a landlord that's cool with it. Find a place that allows dogs and cats, and then ask them if they will allow a snake. And I'll also say that many people that have reptiles, like they have one reptile, their landlord doesn't know about it. I'm not saying do that because that could cause you problems later, but I know a lot of people do that. They keep it in their bedroom or something and the landlord never knows. So That's what a lot of people do. I don't think that I would do that because you could be forced to either vacate the property or give up your animal. And I don't think that's a cool situation to be in. So let's see. Kathy says, have recently received my 4x2x2 black box cage, and it feels huge. The thought of having to completely clean it out every couple of months is overwhelming. So I'm thinking about diving into the bioactive world. Let's see, it's for a 300-gram ball python. Any comments, advice, or recommendations? Yeah, I'm going to be doing a big bioactive project in about a month and a half or so, and I'll have a video up on that. We're turning most of these cages into bioactive. It's going to be really cool. So I would say, as far as advice, just, make sure that you're using plants that are safe for snakes. I'm sure you've figured out where to get your soil from, or you're figuring that out, where to get your bioactive soil. You want to make sure that there's no contaminants or what do you call it? Pesticides, stuff like that in the soil or in the plants. Make sure those are all clean. And that means you got to pretty much do it yourself. You have to clean the plants yourself. And there's a video on Serba Design's channel that talks about how to clean a plant. You pull it out with the roots and you put it in a bath of bleach. There's other ways to do it too. But that's how I do it. Yeah. I mean, there's tons of advice that I could give, but I'm going to be doing a whole video on it in about a month and a half. I don't know when the video is going to be out, though. I'm filming it in about a month and a half. Or maybe a month. I think we're a month away from that project, but it's going to be big. I'm getting a new stack of cages from Black Box. So at that time, we're making everything bioactive. It's going to be crazy. I'm excited about it. Let's see. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything. And then also, the other thing is just keep in mind that as your snake grows, they will destroy plants. And I'm okay with that. It's going to cost you extra in plants. Why'd everything go dark? This happens sometimes where my camera adjusts. It decides that it should ignore the lighting and just make everything dark, but it's going to brighten up again in a second. Let's see. Will it? Does that help at all? Nope. All right. Well, while we're waiting for it to brighten up, there we go. There it goes. Crisis Corpse, thanks for this super chat. Get a shop vac, makes cleaning large cages so much easier. Yes, that's not advice for a bioactive, but it's a good advice for other cages like this. I have a shop vac, and I wish that I could just shop vac up the cocoa husk, but the hose is not big enough. I don't have a massive industrial shop vac, but it does help a lot with once I've dumped almost all the substrate, I can shop vac up the rest. It's really helpful. I like a shop vac. Where are we here? Wendy Williams says, there's another multiple question one. We'll see if we can do a lightning round. If you were given a television show of your choice, would it be long form green room pythons or something entirely different? It'd be something entirely different. It would be like a sitcom or something like that. Maybe an animated show. I've pitched a number of animated shows, developed some sitcoms, stuff like that. I currently don't have any, but that's what it would be. And then I would still do green room pythons, but I'd go and do my show. Oh, look at these. We got new super chats. Hang on one second. Let me try to deal with Stella and get to this first one. Amy Olson, thanks for the super chat. I'm trying to plan a fake tree climbing structure for a ball python to climb onto, a rope bridge to a basking area for enrichment. Any suggestions on how to secure it, or is there better alternatives? So you're saying, are you saying within the cage? If it's within the cage, my friend Paul does a brilliant thing with his scrub pythons he's taken a rope, like a thick rope that is that's attached to eye hooks, like two eye screws is what I mean. And he can just screw that into the PVC at the top of his cage, right, on both sides. And then, but then in the middle of it, he's got a piece of cork bark. So he's got a long tube of cork bark that the rope goes through. So secured on both ends of the rope, swinging down with cork bark right here. And so the snake can sit on top of the cork bark or go into the cork bark, whatever. It's pretty cool. It works great. So something like that might be cool. Thanks for that super chat, Amy. Appreciate it. Dark Moon Dragon, thanks for the super chat. Your story about your dad reminds me of my pop, whose car of choice was a Chevy El Camino. He lives in New York State and once drove to South Carolina to buy one. Yeah, you know, people with their cars, dads with cars, when they get excited about a car, they're gonna find what they like. And if it's an older model vehicle, sometimes you got to go. Sometimes you got to go a ways. Luke Owens, thanks for the super chat. I just got my first snake a couple days ago, a California king snake. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's a great choice too. California king snakes are cool. I'm now considering a bigger enclosure, but I don't want to make it uncomfortable switching enclosures back to back. It's still a juvenile. What do you think? You know, king snakes are pretty resilient, and I don't think that you're going to find a king snake that is willing to go off food just because they're in a new cage. So I would say, I mean, the other thing to consider is, does your snake need a bigger cage? I don't know how young it is, how small it is, you know, but if it's like in a shoe, if it's, let's say, brand new, tiny snake and it's in a shoebox, you could certainly upgrade it. But if it's already in a fairly good sized cage and you just want to double the size, you may wait a little bit. But I think either way, a king snake's going to probably do just fine. Make sure they've got plenty of places to hide and you know, clutter and stuff like that. But they're going to be happy in any cage where food comes to them on a relatively regular basis. That's kind of what king snakes are up to. But they're also they move a lot. You know, they like a lot of room to cruise around. You know, like this snake that's currently trying to. You know what? I'm going to put her back in the other room so she can have an entire room to cruise around on, since my hat is not nearly enough for her right now. We'll get a different snake out. Hey, Stella, can you? Oh, all right. Okay, so everybody say goodbye to Stella. I'm going to put her back. I'll be right back. Hold on a moment. Okay. She was happy to go back into the room, but did not want to let go of my hat. She wanted the front part of her body to cruise around the room, but her tail did not want to release the hat. She wanted to take the hat with her. That's what's happening. Okay. Any suggestions on a snake that anyone would like to see next? And maybe we'll do that. I'll get to the next question while people are writing their requests, their snake requests. Where are we? Oh, we're still in Wendy's questions. I said we were going to do rapid fire, but we didn't go rapid fire with that. So she asked about the TV show. Next one is, do you have St. Patrick's Day plans? Do you have an Irish heritage? I do have an Irish heritage, Scots Irish, Welsh, stuff like that. I'm very Celtic. And I will be traveling on St. Patrick's Day. Those are my St. Patrick's plans. Favorite insect? Praying mantis. Super cool. If you could pick one of your snakes to be your D&D style familiar, you would have a connection and be able to communicate with it. Who would you pick? I would say Damara, because I feel like she's my familiar anyway. in the room. I have a good connection with lots of my snakes, but Damara is my would be my familiar, I think. How's little B Arthur? I must have missed last updates. Yes, B went to the home of one of my Patreon supporters, who is able to assist feed. So she's doing great. Azara says, Harry Vanderspiegel, thanks for the super chat, Azara. I appreciate that. So hold on, let's see. Did I miss any others? Okay, so people want to see Harry. Hang on a second. Let me look at these. We got Handsome Dan, who's still sitting up in that hide right there. Actually, I'm pretty sure he is. He is. So he's up there right now. I could pull him down. A lot of people want to see Harry. Phil says my video is glitchy. Is it glitchy for you guys too? It could be something on my end, or it could be something on Phil's end. Pygmy Python. So people are saying Pip. People are saying the babies from the new clutch. Okay. I tell you what. So we got a lot of that. It's blurry and glitchy. Okay, sorry guys. That's a bummer. It probably has something to do with the internet connection. Let's wait till hopefully it gets a little bit better. We'll give it a minute, and hopefully it gets better. And then, so here's my thoughts is I'm gonna try to hand feed Pip and Harry, meaning they literally sit in my hand. I've got some food thought out for them, and I'll give them food. We'll see how that works. It worked great for Pip last time I tried to do it. So I'll show you some of the new babies. How about that? I got a video coming out in a week. Is it the next video? It is the next video to come out is about the babies. So you're going to see them all really well there. But let's wait and see if this gets clear again. And because I want you to be able to see the babies. Okay, I got a couple super chats here. Let's get to those really quick. Alexis, thanks for the super chat. Got 2 snakes from the Gray family today. Oh, that's great. Congratulations. Gray family snakes is fantastic. I love Roger and the family. They're great. Good place to get snakes. Peter Hoffman, thanks for the super chat. Next house snake name idea. Gordon Shumway. I don't know the reference. Tell me what the reference is. But thanks for that super chat. This must be from a show or something that I don't watch, and maybe I should. All right. Kate says, it's too blurry for small snakes. You need to bring out the big guns. Okay, I tell you what we'll do. Let's bring out Damara right now, since she's just right in front of me on the couch. She has been all day. Come here, Mama. She's a big gun. We could pull her out for a minute while we chat. Oh, it's Alf. It's Alf's real name. Okay, Gordon Shumway is Alf's real name. I didn't know that. That's really funny. That is a show that I've probably seen every episode of, but when it first came out. So that's pretty funny. Totally didn't remember that about the show. I'm impressed that you guys know that. That's great. So we get Damara here. Sorry about the slow bit rate, you guys. I don't know what's going on. Last time this happened, there was a massive storm outside, and so the connection was just bad. There's no storm right now, though. I don't know what the deal is. Danielle, thanks for the super chat. Tipping for Damara. She will always be my fave. Oh, that's great. Damara has some fans. Appreciate that, Danielle. Damara is Lori Torini's favorite. Also, she is. I mentioned this in next week's video, but it's hard for me to pick a favorite, to say who my favorite snake in the green room is. But Damara is definitely one of my favorites because I feel like I have a deeper connection with her than I do with other snakes. Even other snakes that I feel like I have a really good connection with, you know. Damara does feel like a familiar to me. If I were to have a familiar. Katie, thanks for the super chat. Showing appreciation to a guy who always responds. Oh, that's really nice. Thanks, Katie. I appreciate that. I don't know that I always respond, but I try to respond as much as I can. I'll say that. Kathy, thanks for the super chat. What made you decide to go bioactive all around? You know, it looks cool. I like how it looks. I've done it enough. I have enough cages where I feel like I'm experienced enough with it. And it's way easier, man. It's when it's cleaning week, it used to be cleaning day, but now I make it cleaning week so that I don't spend the entire day. It's arduous to spend the entire day cleaning cages. But when I'm faced with cleaning out all these cages, it's a big project, you know. It takes a long time. So bioactive cuts a lot of that cleaning out, most of it. Danielle, thanks for the super chat, and thanks for letting me know the video just sharpened. It looks great. Thank you. That's awesome. Let's look at some of Damara's babies. Ghost01, thanks for the super chat. Are we going to see you at Tenley? No, I won't be there. Sorry. I am going to try to be there in October. Although I just booked a gig in October. I think I booked it anyway, and I don't know what date that gig is versus when Tenley is. I'll have to look. But my plan is hopefully to be at Tenley in October. Here we go. Here goes. Everybody say goodbye to Damara. We're going to put her back and let her go to sleep in her hide, which she's very happy to do. And then let's look at some babies. So some of you will notice that Damara's morph is pinstripe. She is a pinstripe mama. And many of her babies are also pinstripe. And some are not. And then, but they all have combinations of their dad's genes. And dad is the inspector right back there. And he's banana, orange dream, inchy, firefly. Super orange dream. Jen says Bob has promised October Tenley for the past year and a half. Fingers crossed. I don't know that I've ever promised it. I think I've always said that I'm going to try to get to Tenley. Now, I will say that I was very confident that I was going to be at Tenley last year, but my travel schedule got so crazy right around that time. I was traveling every week before and after, and I had to have a break. And so I had to not do Tenley, but we're going to try again this year. All right, babies. Let's take a look at a couple babies. Okay. So Patreon, the Horde of Keepers over on Patreon has already seen all these babies, and they've already weighed in on who their favorites are. Here's a good mix. There's a good mix of babies, though, right here. So the two in this hand seem to be the two favorites. Out of 13, we have a clutch of 13 babies. These two seem to be the two favorites. Here's another one that is, whoops, don't jump out of my hand there, dude. This is a banana orange dream pinstripe. Can't even see this thing. I would say fire. Banana inchy orange dream pinstripe fire, I would say on this one. That's not focusing. It's so, because of the banana and most of the pattern is wiped out, you really gotta, hang on. It's really gotta focus for you to see what's going on with it. There you go. So that one's cool. And then this was my favorite out of the clutch. Just the color and pattern are crazy. And also, for those of you on Patreon that are watching right now, wait till I show you all the babies again, because they've all their colors are changing so much. Some of them, like this one, isn't changing, and I don't expect it to until it gets older. This little guy's awesome though, or girl. This is a female. Hang on. But the bananas their colors are changing, and it's pretty cool to see. So anyway, ooh, KG's here. Hang on. There we go. Hi, KG. With Bomb Projects, you guys, KG is in the house. Good to see you, man. I had fun at the reptile show. KG put together a reptile show. Last year was the first year. It's downtown LA. It's a small breeder show. That's really cool. We had a good time there a couple weeks ago. Or was it just last week? I can't remember. Anyway, all right. There's some babies. Lady Bratface, I don't know if I'm keeping that one. If I keep any, it would be this one right here that's trying to jump out of my hand. But I don't know that I'm going to keep any of them. But I do. Let's see. I do love I mean, it'll be interesting how this one develops, but it's just purple. It's pink and purple right now with this bright orange on the dorsal, which is so cool. It just looks awesome. And just cool patterning, you know, kind of chaotic pattern. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, and this one, hey, don't jump out on my hands. Okay, I gotta put these guys back. This one is definitely a fan favorite. This one has fans. Yeah, this clutch turned out really cool. All right, hang on. I'm going to put them back. Tell you what, let's do this. Let's get rid of this. I got new boots, you guys, from the Thursday Boot Company. And you know what I like about getting new shoes is I get a new hide. And I definitely don't need a new hide. Like Black Box sends me so many hides. But the cool thing about having a new hide, this one's going to go right up here, is that the snakes notice it. They notice when there's something new up there, and they're all over it. So I'm almost as excited about the new hides as I am about the new boots whenever I get new shoes or something like that. It's pretty cool. Okay. Want to see the boots? I'm breaking them in, so I'm wearing them right now. Look at these. How cool are these? Well, you probably can't see them very well. They're good boots, though. Danielle just said, "Can we see the boots?" Thanks for the super chat, Danielle. Yeah, Thursday Boot Company. I've been seeing their ads. Like I've been getting their ads for a long time, and they make really good quality boots. And I bought these because I thought I need a new pair of black boots to wear with a kilt when I'm performing at Ren Fair, but just when I'm wandering around before and after the fair closes. Before it opens and after it closes, I usually still wear a kilt, but I put on regular stuff. And I usually wear black boots like that with kilt. And I thought I need new boots for that. And these showed up, and they're too nice to wander around a Renaissance fair with. Like, I thought that they were going to be fun, but they're too nice. So I'm happy to have them, but I may get a different pair that are not as nice as these. Colin, thanks for the super chat. I just want to say thanks for all your knowledge. A few months ago, I got a free ball python who is 11 years old. I named her Lilith, and she's my first snake. Oh, that's great, Colin. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. But congrats on the new snake. That's fantastic. That's really cool. You've got an established adult. That's really cool. Have I missed any super chats? Since all these shenanigans here. So here's the plan, you guys, is I haven't. Okay. I'm going to grab Handsome Dan, show you Handsome Dan, put him away. Then I'm going to get the little tiny mice that are thawed out. We're going to get Pip. I'll show you Pip. We'll try to feed her. We'll get Harry Vanderspiegel. We'll try to feed him in my hands. We'll see if he eats. I have no idea. He's a pretty shy snake, but he likes food, man. So I think we'll be okay with that. So I'll show them to you, and then I'll give them some food and put them right back in their cage. That's how we'll do it. So, Handsome Dan, hold on one second. Where is? Oh, there we go. He's right up here. Hey, pal, you wake up for a second, buddy. I don't want to scare you. There we go. You're okay, pal. Dude, you've been up here all day. All day, man. So the nice thing about, you know, people worry that it's usually people that don't have snakes or don't know reptiles very well, but they worry that it's not warm enough when the snakes free roam, you know. And it is warm enough in here, like it's mid 70s usually in this room, which is fine for a snake, even for an entire day of free roaming. But, and I don't free roam them when they're digesting, but if they want a warmer area, these cages on top all have radiant heat panels, and that heat goes up to the outside top of the cage too. So Handsome Dan sits in there over a radiant heat panel, and he stays very warm. It's a nice. It's like sitting on a heated, 90-degree hotspot sort of. There's Handsome Dan. We'll let him relax for a minute. He likes to flail around when he's newly in someone's hands or placed somewhere. Oh, you know what? You know what he's gonna like? We'll let him hang out on the hat for a minute. Let me just show him the hat. Dude. Okay. Yeah, Danielle, Handsome Dan is getting big, and I've showed him to a couple of people who keep and raise and breed Central American boas, and they've all said that he's big, but I don't feel like I'm feeding him. I mean, I did. He was getting medium rats for a little bit, and I've cut it back to smalls, but he definitely had, like, his body condition is good, but he's only getting fed once every 3 weeks. So there we go. We'll just let him do what he wants to do with the hat. So, small rodent every 3 weeks right now is where we're at. All right. He's going to get himself comfortable here in a minute. Yeah, the glasses grab. People always talk about their snakes going for their glasses, and it seems like a really good, stable thing to hang on to. But as we know, it's not stable at all. It's just glasses on our face. And they just end up pulling the glasses off. So I'm going to say he is not doing well with my hat right now. Like he's usually really good at just wrapping around the hat. No problem. Does it right away. Not cool right now. Dark Moon Dragon, thanks for the super chat. Handsome Dan is almost 3. He's almost 3 years old, I think. Okay. Clint at Black Box is leaving the room, everybody. Thanks for being here, Clint. Appreciate you answering questions and such. All right. Handsome Dan is going back because this is ridiculous. We still have Patreon questions to answer. We've just taken a break, a temporary break from the Patreon questions. Let's get Handsome Dan back in his cage. Okay. So we got that. Okay. Here we go. I'll be right back. I'm going to do a couple of things. You guys can hear me because I still have my mic on. We're going to check on Stella, who's right here in front of me. We're going to put her back too. The reason is I don't really want any snakes out when I'm starting to thaw out rodents, even though we're just thawing out a couple of little tiny ones. I just don't need snakes out in the house in food mode, you know? So that's that. And now let's get, let me make sure that I haven't missed anything. I haven't. I'm going to do some of this hand sanitizer. And then we're going to grab some rodents and see if Pip will take a rodent. We're going to get Joe Lass's super chat here. Thanks for that, Joe. What will be the design / setup of Handsome Dan's final enclosure? How big of an enclosure will you use? I don't know, Joe. He's good in the enclosure that he's in right now, but there's that's not true. He's moving into a he is moving. Oh, there we go with the darkness again. He's moving into a 5-foot cage, and that'll probably be his final cage, I'm guessing. And that one we're doing bioactive. I forgot which snakes are moving into what big cages, but that's what's happening with Handsome Dan. He's going to get a bioactive 5-footer. Okay, while we wait for the camera to get light again, let me grab a couple tiny rodents, and then we'll grab Pip. I'll show you Pip, and then we'll try to feed her. Here we go. Tiny rodents. Thawed out. We're going to just hit these with a hairdryer, just lightly, because they're pinky mice, basically. Oh, it never got lighter? I don't know what's going on with this camera, you guys. If I knew how to work a camera, if I just knew how to work a camera, we wouldn't have these problems. But look, you don't watch this channel because I'm a professional YouTuber, right? You don't expect me to do this professionally. All right. Just gonna warm these up a bit. They don't have to be warm for Pip, but I don't want it cold. That's fine. That's fine. All right. Now let's grab that little snake, and you guys, she's gotten big as well. And she eats basically large pinky mice once a week. But she seems like a chunky girl to me. Even though she still fits in that little tiny jewelry box. It's her favorite hide. Little pygmy python. one of these days I'm going to get my hands on a male, and she'll be, I mean, next year she'll be ready to breed, I think. Little tiny snake. Hi, babes. Hi, little one. Okay. Let's give her, let's see, she gets the bigger one. The bigger one of the two. Hey, what's this? What's that? Oh my goodness. Oh, yum. Oh, tasty. So tasty. So there we go. We got so gross, you guys. I mean, many of you keep snakes, and so this is normal for you, but I understand for those of you who don't and aren't used to seeing it, this is pretty gross what we're doing here on this live stream. And my apologies to you, but I know a lot of people want to see Pip eat. She never refuses a meal. So, and this is now the second time that I've fed her in my hand. So we'll see what she does here. I may put her back to eat this, but we'll see. We'll see how she does. In fact, let's put Harry's meal over here, and we'll take this time to answer another Patreon question. Let's see. Did I finish all of Wendy's? Yes, I did. Okay, Elizabeth Fortino is asking Boa question. Do you feed Handsome Dan while he's in shed? I fed my Boa a few times while he was in shed without noticing. He took the food fine, but I'd rather avoid undue stress. Yeah, Boas will pretty much eat always, no problem. But there's no, for me, I typically don't feed Handsome Dan if I know he's in shed, just because it's healthy for them to take some extra time off of feeding. And that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily going to fully skip because I feed him every 3 weeks. I'm not going to skip his meal and then offer 3 weeks later. I just wait till whenever he's done shedding, I'll then give him his meal, you know. So he may end up taking 4 weeks or 5 weeks off before getting that meal. But he definitely would eat if I offered him while he was in shed. Danielle, thanks for the super chat. Are there plans to breed more pips in the future? I'm sure you've said before, but I can't remember. Yes, there are, but I have to, I got to get a male. And pygmy pythons are tough to find anyway, but especially males are difficult. So I'm on a list. I'm on Justin Julander's list, but I know Nick Mutton is on Justin Julander's list for a male pygmy python also because Nick needs a male to breed his. And Nick and Justin are good friends, so I'm sure Nick's going to get the male before I do. Lady Bratface, thanks for the super chat. Yes, exactly. They are hard to breed. It's not that they're hard to breed, because they'll breed and give you babies, but the babies come out at 4 grams and almost never will eat on their own. So you've got to assist feed an entire clutch of babies that are 4 grams. Really, it's something that you really have to commit to if you want to do it. And I do want to do it, and I am committed to it, but we need a male. We just need a male. So that's the deal. They are pretty expensive. You know, you can get an Antaresia that looks just like Pip, but is going to be a bit bigger. You know, a children's python or a Stimson's python or a spotted python. They're a little bit bigger, like twice the size, but still very small pythons. Way less money, way cheaper for a children's Stimson's or spotted python. But if you want the smallest snake in the world, which I did, that's the pygmy python or anthill python. Androidery, thanks for the super chat. How did you get started with snakes? I've just had reptiles my whole life. Since I was a kid. I've had lizards mostly when I was a kid and in high school, but I had my first snake that I bought at a pet store was a rough green snake. And but I had little snakes that I caught. You know, we caught snakes and lizards, and it was actually mostly salamanders and frogs where I lived in Spokane, but there were little snakes and lizards around also. So it's been, you know, I've just been interested in reptiles in general my whole life, and animals in general too. Like I'm interested in love all animals. It's just that reptiles are so different than us that I'm fascinated by kind of what makes them tick. Brett H, thanks for the super chat. Love the videos. I'm covering a screen mesh top with acrylic. How much larger should I make the light cutouts for ventilation? Thanks for all you do. Yeah, so the light cutout, that's a cool idea to cut that you're cutting acrylic out to cover it with. You don't need the hole to be much bigger. You know, there's going to be plenty of ventilation, even if you go right up to the edge of the light. There should be enough ventilation there. You know, you might give a little bit of room, but even a tiny bit of room around that light, there's going to be ventilation through the light hood. You know, so not much to worry about there. Austin, thanks for the super chat. What are your thoughts about a carpet python for a first reptile pet? I think it's great. Carpets are wonderful, and especially if you get a baby and raise it as a baby, they're great. There are certain you know, when we say carpet pythons, there are different subspecies, and there are certain ones like jungle carpets that are known to be a little bit more bitey than others. So, you know, if you're worried about that, if someone was a new reptile keeper and they're worried about getting bit, they might look into what species of carpet is the better one to get. But all of them as babies you could expect to bite. However, the two that I have don't. So you could get lucky and get ones that don't bite, but a bite from a baby carpet python is nothing. And they're great, especially as they get older. They don't bite so much, and you know. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. Nick can add pretty Pip to the project. Jenna, you got to clarify. You got to clarify that sentence. Something about Nick Mutton. We need a male for Pip to add Pip to this to a project. We just need a male. Nick Mutton has, I think he has 2 or 3 females, and he had a male, but it died. Tyler, thanks for the super chat. Let me know if you have a question to go along with that. So Nick's male, he only had 1 male pygmy python, and it died. So it put his pygmy python breeding project on hold for the moment. And we were talking about carpet pythons, and we started talking about these pygmies, and that's how I found out that he's also on Justin's list. So I realized that I may not be getting the first male that Justin has available. Okay. Pip is almost done with her. Austin, yes, you can see the carpets. Let's don't let me forget that. Thanks for this super chat, by the way. Appreciate that. We're gonna feed Harry next, and then the carpets will be next on the list. You guys don't let me forget. That's the plan. We're putting Pip back right now because she's just swallowing this. I'm gonna let her move it through her system in her cage. We'll get Harry out. We'll do the same thing with Harry. See if he eats in my hand, and then we'll look at carpet pythons. Here goes Pip. We're just going to gently place her back in her cage. Let her move that meal down. All right. So Pip and Harry are very similar in that they hide 100% of the time when their light's on in their cage. As soon as their light comes off, they are out. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move this camera a little bit so you can see. Well, you're not going to be able to see very well, but we're going to get Harry out of his cage. He's currently just under a little piece of cork bark, which is kind of his favorite place to hide. Pal, you're okay. Here, bud. You're going to be so excited that I brought you out because you like food. You'll be so happy about food. Okay. All right. So here's the good doctor. You know what? Let's get him in my other hand so that I can focus the camera. Okay. There we go. How cool is he, right? Just super bright orange guy. This is, for those of you who don't know, this is a Cape house snake, African Cape house snake. And he is T-positive albino. KZN red is his locality. These have morphs and localities. So KZN red and albino, and then line bred to have super big eyes. And as he grows, as he gets bigger, he'll have even bigger eyes. So I'm just going to let him calm down a little bit in my hand. Sorry that the focus didn't happen there. Just going to let him calm down a little bit, and then we'll try to feed him. But they are, house snakes are constrictors. So this thing that he's doing on my thumb is pretty common. They like to, he likes to go, like he likes to tie up a bunch of my fingers. Kind of like what Handsome Dan does with my wrists, or what Stella does with my arms, you know, but he's doing with fingers. Tyler, thanks for the super chat. What type of ball python would you get for a first? Well, Tyler, there's not really, you might be asking what morph, but a ball python is a species. There's no subspecies of ball python except for Volta, but we're not talking about Voltas. There's really no subspecies of ball python. So you can get whatever color pattern you want. You know, that is, you're getting, if you're getting a ball python, that is the species. And then the morph is just the paint job of it. Just like a Cape house snake is a Cape house snake, regardless of whether they're T-positive albino, KZN red, you know, such like that. So, but ball pythons are a great first snake if that's what you're into. You know, I always tell people to get as their first animal, get whatever they're into and do tons of research, learn lots about it first, you know. So Harry is relaxing a little bit. I'm going to pour the last of my Ardbeg here, and then we'll see if he'll take a rodent. He's Harry is not super like he's not super socialized at this point. He's still pretty nervous guy, but he seems to forget his nerves when there's a rodent in front of him. He's like a squirrel. He's just like, you know how squirrels are like, they're so afraid of you, but then if you offer them some food, they're like, oh, I'll come up and get some food out of your hand. Sure. I think Harry's going to be like that. Let me just hit this with the hairdryer a little bit real quick. Just so it's not cold. Okay. And then make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. All right. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. What size enclosure do you recommend for a super dwarf retic? As big as you can possibly give them for space. Super dwarfs have a huge range of what size they could potentially be. They could be very small corn snake size, not many of them, but some can, all the way up to almost the size of a mainland reticulated python. So they move a lot, so they need a lot of space. My super dwarves are in adequate cages for them, but they also spend most of their time out of their cages. So they have full rooms to roam around in, you know. So that's what I would say, as big as you can for a super dwarf. Okay, let's see what he thinks of this. Smelling it. Oh, yum. I thought that would happen. Now, I've heard from some people that their house snakes won't even take off tongs, that they have to leave it. Now, there's certain localities of house snake that won't. There's one locality, I can't remember what it's called, that is notorious for not even wanting to eat frozen thawed. They're pretty picky eaters. But Harry especially, I wish he wasn't dragging a dead mouse across my hand, but I guess that's where we're at with him. Harry is just an eater, like whatever, he'll just eat. Vicent, thank you for the super chat. I recently was gifted 2 adult ball pythons. The previous owner had both snakes in the same enclosure for 18 years. Thoughts? Congrats on the new snakes. Put them in different enclosures. That's what I would say. Those snakes should not be housed together. They might be used to it. They might have been fine with it. But I have a video about that came out not too long ago about housing ball pythons together, and especially adults. You just don't want to force them to. They can hang out together, you know, at certain times, but you don't want to force them to share resources, to struggle to share resources, you know. I'm going to probably put Harry back in a second. Let him eat in peace. Braxton, thanks for the super chat. I want a super dwarf because of how active they are, but I'm concerned about the size. What would you suggest as an alternative? Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Let me put Harry back real quick while I answer that. So, you know, there are lots of. I did a video. I put out a video a couple of weeks ago on Pituophis. That's rat snakes, bull snakes, stuff like that. Those are super active also. And he's constricting my pinky finger. There we go. As though my pinky was also food. Okay. Now he's off on his own. Hang on. I got to wash my hands, you guys. You're going to hear the faucet running. But, you know, I just had mouse dragged across my hand. So there we go. Since my mic is on, you guys are hearing everything. All right. Call me squeamish, but I like to wash my hands after dead rodents are in contact with them. So I look into a pine snake. Oh, also, actually, Antaresia, children's pythons, spotted pythons, stuff like that are also quite active like that. So that's a good one to look into as well. Let's see. Ghost01, thanks for the super chat. What's your wire situation like back there? 7 enclosures, some plant lights. What does your floor look like? So I have some wires bunched up on the side of the wall here, right down there, and all on a strip. And then I have a strip over here. I actually have two strips that are running different things, but a couple of strips there. It's not massive. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things to plug in on each enclosure, you know, so. Oh, I'm just seeing this. Wait, Fizzy. You guys couldn't hear the, yeah, this mic is designed to cut out background noise. So we didn't really hear the hairdryer and didn't hear the faucet at all. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. I mean, I'll hear that tomorrow. Thanks for that feedback, Fizzy. I'll hear it tomorrow. I'll watch this tomorrow, but that's crazy. The mic is designed to cut out outside noise, but the fact that this, wait, you guys don't hear that? That's on full blast. That's crazy. Thomas, thanks for the super chat. Let me know if you have a question to go along with that. Thanks for that. Have I missed any others while I was away? I don't think so. No, we got it. Okay. Okay. Let's get back to the Patreon questions, shall we? We've already fed 2 snakes. We have 2 more snakes to go with feeding. We got both of these top cages. I can't. It's reversed on. There we go. We've got the inspector and Maya. They've got food thought out. So we'll feed them a little bit. Let's see. I don't even know where we left off on this. Okay, Taylor Alexis says, if room size wasn't an issue and money was no object, what would you add to the green room and why? Size and money. So, I mean, my dream snake, just like many other people's dream snake, is a Boelen's python. I've interacted with them, both babies and adults now. I love them. I would want a Boelen's. I also would love to have an anaconda. That would be cool. I don't think I ever will, and it's not really my goal. But if all of a sudden I found myself in this situation where space was no problem and I could have a massive water feature, an anaconda would be amazing. And then I would get a Asian water monitor. I'd probably get a black dragon, because I just love them, and they require a lot of space. But that would be like a, you know, they would have like an entire room, and they'd probably be able to roam around wherever they wanted to go. Maybe not wherever, because they would destroy stuff, but you know. Okay. Let's see if this is. Hang on one second. I'm getting texts. Sorry, guys. That is that is not. That's something else. Okay. Here we go. We're going to lower the temperature here in the room. Getting a little hot. All right. We're on another page, you guys. We get to change, switch, turn the page. We get to turn the page. Here we go. I know words and sentences in English. All right. Sam says, where are all the heat panels hiding? And I clarified with him when he wrote this, because I didn't know what that meant, but he's trying to find heat panels to buy. And my recommendation is Reptile Basics usually has heat panels, I think, but Amazon, you can buy heat panels on Amazon. My cages, I always recommend that you buy a cage that comes with heat panels. Like if you order cages from Black Box, they come with heat panels. You tell them what wattage you want, and they come with these have Reptarad heat panels. I don't know the brands of heat panels. I don't know what's what. They have always come with the cages that I've gotten. So, so that's that. But I know that like you can buy them on Amazon, so you should be able to get some. Next question from Sam. I've added jumping spiders to my bioactive enclosures to deal with gnats. Ever heard of this? Seems to work great so far. That's kind of cool. Jumping spiders are the one spider that doesn't really freak me out. I think they're super cute, and that's cool. I'll say that, you know, I don't usually have a problem with gnats, but when I have had a problem, it's always been in the inspector's enclosure, and I have a little device that'll take care of them in like a day or two. But it's like, it seems like there will be a big hatching and you have the problem and then they go away. So, you know, if you have jumping spiders in the cage, do they have enough bugs for a constant source of meals for them? You may have to supplement. Maybe you are supplementing. Austin, thanks for the super chat. I will not be at NARBC in Dallas. Unfortunately, that is not in the cards this year. Crisis Corpse, thanks for the super chat. Don't forget to bring out Bella and Koa. Thanks. Good call. Thanks. All right, let's see. Here we go. Oh, look at this boy right here. Right here. Just waiting for me to grab him. Little Koa. Little Koa will be getting a nice bioactive cage. He'll be moving. He and Bella will be moving into the 2 cages right below the inspector, the ones that Handsome Dan and Banjo are currently in. Those cages are going to be turned into bioactive, and they'll be Koa and Bella's new cages. So that's very exciting. We'll bring them both out. They're pretty easy to handle, both together. And I know that Bella should be in the same spot she's been all day and very easy to snag. Hi, babes. You're a pretty girl. There you go. Okay. So, for those of you wondering, we have a Brettles python. That's the red one. That's Koa. And Bella is a coastal carpet python. Do you guys follow is it Sunshine Coast Snake Catchers? I think that's who it is. They're on like TikTok and Instagram, whatever. But they're fun to follow because they're a snake removal service in Australia. And you know, when you're a snake removal service and you're in Australia, you're a busy company, you know. And coastal carpet pythons have decided that inhabiting an area that humans live in is the way to go, because humans attract rodents, and the coastal carpet pythons are obviously attracted by the rodents. So it's very common that they're up in engines of cars, and oftentimes in barbecues and in people's attics, and they just get into people's stuff all the time. And it's fun to watch those guys go and grab them and relocate them. And usually, for the most part, when they're getting these big adult coastals, there's no biting. It's just like picking up a pet snake. You know, they just pull it out of the barbecue and put it in a bag and go take it into the sticks, you know. So I love these 2 little baby snakes, though. Their baby personalities, you know, they're gonna change. Their personality will shift a little bit. I mean, I think that they'll always be socialized, because I would say currently they are socialized. They're not going to lose that, but you know, we'll learn more about their personalities as they grow and they're able to sort of venture out of their hides more and stuff like that. Although I will say Koa spends most of his time outside of his hide now. He sits on top of it. Danielle, thanks for the super chat. You should know that when I started watching your videos, I had 1 ball python and now I have a reptile room. That's awesome. I do it again too. In fact, I will probably a lot of times. More reptile rooms, probably. That's awesome, Danielle. I love that. Love hearing that. Congrats on your first reptile room. It's really cool. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. I think Koa and Sam are cousins. Oh, that's cool. Is Sam a a Brettles python from Nick, I'm guessing. Amy Bentley, you guys, look at this. Look who just jumped in. Hi, Amy.
Hi, guys.
Did you get your stuff done?
No.
Oh, okay. Are you close?
I've got to feed. No, I've got to feed Dodger, and I've got to clean Nagini, and then I've got 2 tortoises that I still have to clean. So
I'd say you're close.
well, it's really hot in here.
I bet. So you guys, Amy has been cleaning cages. That's what she's been up to today, and or this evening. Taking care of animals, which is more important than sitting here on a live stream.
Yeah.
So I guess, should we start over then, since Amy hasn't been here, you guys? Should we just start from the beginning and do the whole thing over?
I did see you hand feed Dr. Harry Vanderspiegel.
Oh, you saw that?
I saw that. Yeah. I was in the kitchen. Brady's watching on the...
Brady has it up on the TV probably, right?
Yeah, Brady had it up on the TV, and I was in the kitchen rehydrating a breeder block of substrate.
Nice.
That's why I'm here. I ran out of substrate.
Oh, so. I see. You're doing the work though, man. I would say, now I've never cleaned those tortoise cage like that, or tortoise, what do you call it? What do you call their thing?
Tubs.
They're tubs.
They're tubs.
But it's not but just so people know, it's not a tub like a snake tub. It's a giant one piece. Oh, there we go. There's 2 of them right there. So though it seems like those would be easier to clean than a snake cage, right? Because you're just bending over and scooping the stuff out and then cleaning it.
I wish.
Seems to me like to be. Is it not easier?
Tortoises are disgusting, filthy creatures, you guys. Yeah. They're so cute, but man, they don't, like, they poop and then they just walk, like they
turn
walk
around and walk
it,
through
and and then it gets like all smushed on the bottom of their shell. Yeah. So no, when I clean these, I also have to bathe tortoises most of the time. And these guys, let me see if I can actually see it. Yeah, you can probably see it if I move this. Okay. So right here, I have this handy dandy torch that I got for the... Can you see that hole right there? It's like a little V in the tub. Oh, it's actually like... Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So the back part of that tub is all substrate, and then this front part is water. And then the water drains out the bottom into a bucket. And it's not easy to do that, especially when their water tubs are full of poop, which they both are. So,
and you have to clean them a lot more often too than the snakes, because they're pooping every day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tortoises are a thing, man. You gotta commit when you have a tortoise. Hang on, Amy. Your friend Sarah has a super chat. Sarah, thanks for the super chat. What is your device for dealing with gnats? They're driving me crazy in my bioactive right now. Okay, Sarah, go on Amazon and look up Catchy with a K, Katchy. I'm gonna put these snakes on my hat and we'll see how they do. A Catchy is a little, it's like, I'd grab it, but I have 2 of them and they're deep in my closet right now. It's like about this tall, and it's got a fan that your snake can't get into, but I usually run it when my snake's out of the cage. And it's a fan that sucks things in, and it has a little UV light that the gnats are attracted to. So they get attracted to the fan, and then the fan sucks it in and down onto a little sticky strip at the bottom that you can change. So it works freaking great. Big fan of the cage.
Danielle, these are waterland tubs. These are their medium land tubs. So most of waterland is they're for like turtles that are more aquatic than they are terrestrial. But these are the ones they have for tortoises. And the last time I checked, because let's be honest, I haven't checked since I bought these. These were the largest ones they had for the land dwelling shelled critters.
Okay, so Amy,
And
last
wait, I just saw something that hang on, let me read this comment. Brady is saying the water, I didn't see all the comments and they are like flying by for a second. So I saw Brady say something like the water only gets bad for a minute. Like the tortoises like their water. They just can't swim. So I give them like 2.5 inches of water in that tub, and almost immediately, every single time without fail, Gemma climbs in her water, poops in the water. I
when you
have to
say
do a
Gemma
water
climbs
change,
in
and
her
then I
water,
immediately have to do another water change
when you say Gemma
without fail.
climbs, when you say Gemma climbs in her water, do you mean Gemma climbs in his water?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Gemma's definitely a boy.
Gemma's a boy. So Amy, your last the last super chat was from your friend Sarah, and the next super chat is from your husband Brady. Brady says you are crushing it. Keep up with the super chats. Keep it up, Brady. That's so nice. I appreciate you, man. I love that you did a super chat just to say keep up with the super chats. It's very nice. Oh yeah, we got to catch up with these. Poor Girl's Guide to Survival. Thanks for the super chat. I love your handle. Hi Bob, my toddlers love. I'm guessing is what you say. My toddlers love to listen to you, and both call you Snake Guy. That's awesome. Could you give a shout out to JD and Jack before they go to bed? Yes, of course, JD and Jack. Hi, you guys. I am the Snake Guy. I'm glad that you call me that. That's so much easier than remembering a name, right? JD and Jack, I hope you have great dreams. Dream of really nice snakes. How about that? That's good. I like when the kids enjoy green room pythons. There's lots of young kids that I don't know why. I don't specifically make content for children, but children seem to like the show. Speaking of children, I'm going to get these child snakes. Let's see. There's that one. Okay. There we go. You got a little bit of hat time. These two. We're still on Patreon questions here.
Nice. Guess what? I have 2 excellent pieces of news for you.
Oh, say it.
So Dodger is up here, and I usually only ever see her face and about like
Can we
this
just
much
say
of her
that
body.
Dodger is your false water cobra?
False water cobra.
Just for okay.
So I'll feed her, and then I usually only see like the first little bit of her body. If I get her target too far away, because I sometimes try to target her all the way out, she's like, nah, I don't need it. And she'll just go back in her little cage, her little den. So she has like a log. You guys can kind of, there it is, right there. That's like a log, like a cork bark log. And it's kind of hollow like this, but then it has like this weird twisty piece that comes off. It's really cool. But she lives under it always. She's got like 5 hides in there and she doesn't use any of them. She just goes under the log. So I had to deep clean her today, so I pulled her out, and she's big. She's so big. I was like, "Whoa, you're so big!" I was so
Isn't that
excited.
crazy that you can feed a snake once or twice, and then all of a sudden, noticeably, it's like they're a different animal. You know, they're just big. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My other great piece of news, because my vinegaroon, who is in this cage back here, has been hibernating for 2 months now, and I've had absolutely 0 signs of life from her, which really freaks me out like a lot. I can't see her at all. I have no idea how she's doing. And this is the first time I've ever had one. So this is my first hibernation. And there's like a little opening, like a little window down in her den now. So I got a sign of life from my vinegaroon today. She's still
So
alive.
she's still hibernating, but you can see her. That's cool. She made a little window for
I
you.
can't see her. I can't see her.
Oh.
It's a teeny tiny little hole, and I'm not gonna like shine a light in there and disturb her. So I
But she
can't see
changed
her,
something in her
but that
cage.
wasn't there before. So
Got it.
So,
All right, I'm going to pull you off for a second and
okay.
for now and to get to these super chats. All right, bye Amy.
Don't
I'm glad
put
you
me
made it.
back on. Don't put me back on until you ask first, please.
Okay. Okay. Because you're doing stuff. You're still doing stuff.
I'm doing stuff and I don't need everybody looking at my butt while I'm cleaning that enclosure back there.
Yeah, I'm not. If you're not in front of the camera, I'm not going to put you on, and I'll give you a warning. Okay, bye, Amy.
Thanks.
Amy's used to me. She's usually just sitting there, and I just throw her on stage without even asking, or on screen, I guess. Justin, thanks for the super chat. Update on Snake Spies. This is an animated show idea that we came up with when I had Tara Strong over. And it was kind of a joke, but then we started kicking ideas around. And I came up with an idea that I started writing my text as kind of a joke. And then I thought, no, this could actually work. This could be a thing. So are we actually developing Snake Spies? I mean, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I was supposed to go over to their house last weekend and I didn't make it. But we'll be hanging out again soon, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. We might try to develop something. We'll see. Crisis Corpse, thanks for the super chat. I'm debating between a Sumatran short-tail python and a BCI for a possible future friend. What are your opinions? I currently have a blood python and 2 ball pythons. So I would say, a Sumatran short-tail python is going to be very similar to your blood python. BCI, boa constrictor imperator, for those of you who don't know, BCI would be a totally different thing. I would say get a BCI because then you've got something completely different. And I would also say that short tail or a blood python and a ball python, even though a blood is much bigger than a ball python, they have the same sort of body type. And so with a BCI, you're going to get a different body type. You're going to get a completely different species, not even a python, different species of snake. And it might be more interesting. But a short tail is cool. Those blood pythons and short tail pythons are beautiful. They're really cool. But I say BCI. Okay. Here we go. Fizzy, thanks for the super chat. Willie's video today had very cool animations that made me think of Snake Spies. Willie did put out a video today, more Willie on YouTube and the other social medias. But my friend Willie just started a channel, and he's a really good content creator. He knows how to put a video together. I told him, especially after watching today's video, that he's got to start editing mine. Because he's making short videos, so they're really quick and easy to watch. But the way he edits them and the animations that he puts in between the cuts and stuff are really cool. Makes it really watchable. And Tara was in his video today, and because she got bit by a snake, and you can go to his video to see what those shenanigans were all about. But he's going to have a fun channel. He's going to have a lot of followers, I think. And I recommend that people get in on the ground floor of that channel because that's going to be fun. He'll be on my channel a lot. I'll be on his a lot because we hang out often. And I think he's really good at creating content, and he knows his stuff. He's just getting back into reptiles, but he has a degree in biology. He knows animals. He knows his stuff, and he's getting really cool reptiles. He just built. They built an outbuilding that half of it is Tara's recording studio and the other half is Willie's reptile room, basically. So he's getting some cool stuff, and I'm trying to influence his purchases so that he buys all the things that I want but can't really have right now. That's what I'm trying to get him to do. So that's the plug for my friend's channel, More Willie on YouTube. Okay, here we go. Where are we at on this? Oh, okay. So Sam we started with Sam's first question, the heat panels. God, it seems like so long ago. And then jumping spiders. And then Sam's last question is, can you tell number 5 I said hi? Yes, I can, Sam. Number 5, for those of you that were here when I brought out the babies, number 5 was the yellow one with the brown stripes, short brown stripes. The only one that was not a banana in those 3 that I had in my hand. Ghost01, thanks for the super chat. Super Dwarf Retake and Emerald Basin are my next 2. Oh, those are 2 amazing choices. Really. You know, a basin is awesome. I would love a basin. And super dwarfs are just, you know, as far as a snake, a basin, you could make them handleable, but they're a little bit trickier to, you know, initially to get out, and it's a little bit more of a process to handle them, but it can be done. But a super dwarf, they're all over the place. You just open the door and they're after it. They're either after food, so you got to be careful, or they're just on you, you know, just climbing up your arms and onto your head and everything else. It's great. Crisis Corpse, thanks for the super chat. Just remember 007 and GoldenEye are blood python morphs, just saying. Yes, they are. That's right. Those could be characters in the Snake Spies cartoon. And really cool morphs. I mean, I tell you what, the blood python morphs are some of the coolest color pattern changes. They're just incredible. I really like a blood python. All right, here we go. Candy's Critters says, could you ask the group to post URLs of their favorite places to get information on reptiles and amphibians, like a really complete description of the species, how many rows of scales from head to cloaca, etc., and favorite books too. I need to get a few more. I live in Texas, and Texas-specific sites are welcome, as well as others. Yeah, so put that, if anybody in the chat, or if you're watching this later and want to put it in the comments, what's your favorite place for reptile info that is the scientific stuff, is what she's looking for. So starting with Wikipedia, which is not always great, but oftentimes it is great, and it oftentimes gives sources at the end of articles. So you look up the snake, and it'll give sources, and you go to those sources, and a lot of times that's the good scientific stuff. Books are cool. I have a number of books on snakes that I love, but books get outdated pretty quickly too. So yeah, but post your links or whatever if you guys have good information on, not so much like care guides. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about pet information. We're talking about the scale count, the difference in, like, these 2 are different species, and one of the ways you can tell is by the scale count on their head, stuff like that. That's what we're looking for, is the scientific stuff. Okay, Zach, thanks for the super chat. I named my new hognose Willie. He's been burrowed for like a week. I think I freaked him out by yanking him out to spruce up his enclosure. How long can those guys stay burrowed? Starting to worry about him. He's just hiding. That's just a snake hanging out in his hide. And that's what hognoses do. That they like to hide. So no big deal. I mean, you could bring him out. You know, you don't want to do it too often, but you could unbury him, bring him out if you wanted to check on him, if you were worried. But consider that just like a ball python being in their hide all the time, you know, or like a oh, why can't I think of? I'll say it when I can think of it, but I can't think of words right now. Like a Kenyan sand boa. That's what I'm thinking of. Kenyan sand boa also buries themselves, and you never see them. You know, hognose can do that too sometimes. Hey, are you going into my pocket? Okay, I don't mind that. Miss Bella. We're going to put them back here in a minute, and I'll get some other snake out. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, Jenna has a couple questions. Just watched the baby socialization video. Did you do the same with carpets? I'm finding my young man is like a speed racer. So young carpet, I'm assuming, is like a speed racer. He's over a year old and isn't super defensive, just hard to sit and work with because he wants to climb everything. Shoots up my arm and onto my head sometimes. Yeah, I mean, that's just a very active snake. So with a ball python, they're not nearly that active, right? So you can sit there and they're in your hand or they're in your lap and you can kind of slowly manipulate them. Whereas carpet python might be a little faster and they might be wanting to move around more. So you just have to work with them on their level where they're at. So if they're crawling all over you, let them crawl all over you and let them realize that it's okay to do that. So what I do when my retics are crawling all over me and I don't want them to leave, I stand in a spot in the room where they can't reach anything else. And I just let them, I'll hold out my arms, whatever, and let them just crawl around for a little while before I then let them find something that they can crawl onto and leave. But if I want to hang out with my super dwarves, I'm not trying to make them sit in my lap. I'm getting away from all the stuff they can reach and just letting them do whatever they want to do. So same with the carpet python. Same concept. Okay, let's see. I just saw a super chat. Mike, thanks for the super chat. Do you have solar or is your electric bill high? My electric bill is pretty high. It's not awful, but it's pretty good, you know. I don't have, like, I have 30 snakes. Well, technically I have 47 right now. I think 47 because I have all these babies, but essentially I have 30 snakes. And so it's not like the electric bill of someone that has 100, 200, 300 snakes, you know, it's not that bad. But I have an electric car that I charge at home. Don't charge it very often, like once a week, you know, but that adds to the electric bill too and stuff like that. So that's just, you know, it's a significant bill that's more than if I was just a regular house with some lights, you know. A guy in a hoodie, thanks for the super chat. Second year of breeding ball pythons, congrats. Just got my first clutch of 5 eggs. Oh, that's awesome. Congrats. Bigger congrats to that. Pairing is leopard, inchy, spider, het clown to a clown, het desert ghost. So excited. That's awesome, man. Congrats. That'll be cool to see those babies. You know, it's every clutch is super exciting to see those babies pip out. It's like Christmas, but the first clutch is really the thing. Like it's so exciting. It's such a thing to like anticipate that clutch and then be there watching them pip out and everything. It's pretty cool. Okay. I'm going to put these two back, you guys. Hey, Amy, how are we doing there? Oh, you have a snake with you, Amy. Can I put you on camera? Can I put you on? Yes. Thumbs up to that. Hi.
Hi.
Look at you with Nagini there.
Yep.
I'm going to put these two back. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Oh. Hi guys, what's up? Somebody has to respond to me. I don't have anything to talk about.
Amy, are you cleaning Nagini's cage right now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I just gotta clean her water dish. I already did it. You guys can't see it from here, but you can kind of see it.
And how old is Nagini?
I actually don't know. She was a full-grown adult ball python when I got her.
How long ago? You've had her for a long time.
When I got her, I got her right after we got married, or maybe a year after we got married, so almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I scare you? She is the second most head shy ball python I have, but she's a good girl. And she's never peed on me one time, but she has peed on Brady.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny because Brady doesn't have much contact with snakes, so that's.
I know.
That's crazy.
She was being a super cute little noodle, and she was just curled up in a ball, which this one, if she's out of her enclosure, is almost never curled in a ball. Hi. I know my hand is very scary.
I want you to keep talking, but here's what's going to happen. I'm going to get Maya's food, and I'm going to just put it in her cage, and we're going to see how long it takes her So while I do that, Amy, you say whatever you're saying.
Oh, okay. I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah. Oh, I was telling you the story of how Brady got peed on. But she was all curled up nice in a ball, and so he was like, "I'm gonna hold her while she's like being just a cinnamon roll." So I handed her over, and this is, guys, also, this is around the exact same time I'm trying to convince Brady that I should get more snakes, right? This is like the master plan to have a whole room full of snakes, which did happen, but it almost didn't happen because just as he was coming around to the idea, he was holding Nagini and she peed all over him. And it was like one of those peas that she's been holding for like a while. Oh, it was real gross. He was very unhappy.
That does not help your argument for getting a new snake.
No, she was
So,
not helpful at all.
Unfortunately, I don't have my second camera going, so I'll try to stay out of the way. We'll see what Maya doesn't know. So there's not much smell of rodent in the room. You know, I did warm up those two tiny pinky mice, but I don't think that puts much smell in the room that the snakes can detect. And so now Maya seems like she might be, you know what? I can't move my camera any closer.
Here,
Sorry.
take me off and it'll make your screen bigger for
Yep,
everybody.
okay. Yep. There we go. All right. Hang on. All right. She found it. That's where she's at, is its butt. I don't know what you can see. And it's not warm. It's like room temperature. So I often will warm the head up. And I did not do that this time. So she's got it on its side right now. So it's going to take her forever to eat. She's going to struggle to eat that rodent. And then she'll probably let it go and readjust. But at least she found it. So that's where we're at with that feeding. I didn't make that one. You know what I should do? You know what I've never done before and I should do is put a rodent in her sky hide and then let her find it, because that would be a challenge for her to try to figure out where that is. Okay. So while that's happening, let's see where we're at on these questions. Jenna's second question, her last one was about the carpet pythons. Let me make sure that I haven't missed a super chat. Except Peter just sent one, but hang on, I'll get to Peter's in a second. Kylie's Critters sent a super chat. Let me know if you have a question, Kylie. Let me look and see if there's one posted. Thanks for that super chat, though. That's really nice. All right, I don't see one. Okay, and then let me see if I missed any others before we. Okay. There's a guy in the hoodies. We got his. And Peter is asking which snakes are ophiophagus. Ophiophagus. This one right here that's eating rat, and the one down there at the bottom that's also a black-headed python. Those eat snakes. Those are black-headed pythons are snake eaters. And I don't have a king cobra, but king cobras are also. And I don't have a king snake. I just say snake eaters. I don't try to pronounce ophiophagus. Ophiophagus. Yeah. No need for that word. Why is that even a word? You know, it shouldn't be. Okay, so Jenna is asking, I'm planning a trip to Belize next winter. First, have you done any field herping in Central America? And do you know any reliable guidebooks for herping? Second, do you know of any guides? I don't know of any guides. I actually was invited on a trip to Belize from a friend who's going there, I think next month. I'm going with him to, Dave and I are going with him to the Caribbean, and then he's going to Belize. And I would love to go to Belize, but I can't take another trip back to back. Oh, it looks like, hang on. I'll tell you where Maya's at with this, but you're not going to be able to see it. Oh, she did find the head, you guys. She's eating it head first. That is surprising. But she's at ground level, so you're not going to be able to see it. She got her rat head first, though. That went much faster than I expected. Sorry for the lighting. It will lighten up as soon as the camera decides that it should lighten up. There we go. Look at that. Okay, hold on one second. So I'll finish that in just a second. Austin, thanks for the super chat. With Amy cleaning made me wonder, how do you clean a bioactive enclosure? That's a great question. You don't really need to. I mean, there are certain things like you can clean hides. You spot clean a bioactive. You know, I pull out any urates get pulled out, any poop gets pulled out, and the majority of sheds gets pulled out. But a bioactive, you pretty much leave it if it's working properly and you've got your cleanup crew and such like that. It's pretty much self-cleaning, other than getting those big pieces out when you spot clean. So that's one reason why I'm changing all these cages to bioactive, because it will be much easier. Now I'm going to have to replace plants, as snakes kill plants, because that happens sometimes, but I'm okay with that. And I'm excited to, I like the look of a bioactive better. So I'm excited to have some bioactive. Okay. So anyway, as far as this herping thing, I have not done field herping in Central America. I'll be on that latitude line, that latitude line. What's the word that I'm trying to think of? Because I'll be in the not the Bahamas, but the Caribbean, which is on the same basic line as Central America, but I don't think it's considered Central America because it's the islands. And guidebooks, there's got to be, I mean, I have a really good one for reptiles of the Amazon, and it might be called that, Reptiles of the Amazon, but that doesn't cover Central America. But there's got to be a book similar to that you could probably find on Amazon.com or wherever that's Central America reptiles. There's got to be. And I don't know of any guides, unfortunately, but I know there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people out there who know where the reptiles are and are willing to take you for some cash in South America and Central America. So I'm sure you'll be able to find. But yeah, I would love to make it to Belize, and maybe I'll go one of these days. We'll see. All right, Corey says, I own a mixed breed BCC and BCI female. That's boa constrictor and boa imperator. Any thoughts on approximate length? No. Plan for it to get big. Because like super dwarf retics, boas in general, whether it's a constrictor or imperator, they can, especially if they're mixed, they could be a massive wide range of sizes. So if it's half constrictor, I would just plan for that snake to get big, because that's a big snake, the constrictor. And an imperator can be very big. Mine won't be as big because it's Central American. So there's certain localities that stay smaller, but you've got basically two big snakes that have paired together, and one out of the two is a very big snake. So I would just expect it to get big. Hard to predict the length though, you know. Okay. Chris says, we've got 2 questions. I have 23 frozen mice from a package of 25, each in their own baggies in a freezer. Ozzy is loving the live ones. What do I do with the frozen? You know, I would use the frozen about every 2 weeks. I would try to offer a frozen before getting the snake alive. You may end up wasting that frozen rodent, but it sounds like you got 23 tries to switch Ozzy to frozen thawed, if that was your intent. I mean, I'm sure since you got the bag, you were trying to get the snake on frozen thawed. So I'd feed the snake every 2 weeks. Maybe give him 3 weeks off at one point, and then offer a frozen. See how they do. That's what I would do anyway. And then the next one, not really a question per se, but observation. Cocoa husk substrate is no for Ozzy. I switched his bedding over to Eco Earth, and he is super happy. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of snakes, the bedding has no, like the snake doesn't care at all, whether they're on paper or Eco Earth or Cocoa husk or whatever, it makes no difference. Other snakes, you switch their bedding and you find out that they eat better. They do better. It's just great. Kata, I've had Kata on Cocoa husk a number of times in her life. She currently is on Cocoa husk, but every time I've put her on Cocoa husk, she has not done well, and I have to switch her back to paper. But I would like her to be on Cocoa husk because I don't really like using paper for snakes. So she seems to be doing all right now at the moment. Hey, Mama. I'm just going to bring her out since she's literally right in front of me and we're talking about it. What do you think of your cocoa husk? Huh? What do you think of it? Were you drinking water? Yeah, you're always drinking water. Hi, it's just me. So there's Kata. Amy's busy cleaning her tortoise enclosure, and I'm bringing out her favorite snake. Hey, you're okay, Mama. She looks pink on camera to me. Maybe not to you guys, but on my camera she looks pink, but she's not in shed. Okay. I had, just so you guys know how it works on the back end, I have a little tiny window at the bottom of my screen where I can see Amy. I can see what she's up to. So, hi, Amy. Can I put you on since you're in front of the camera now? Hi there.
Hi.
How are those tortoise enclosures going?
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I have so much poop to clean up. And Gemma keeps climbing and flipping himself over.
Oh my
I've
God.
had to flip him over twice today.
Oh, well, here's your favorite snake. So at least
I
there's
know,
that.
she's so cute. She does look pink on camera. Oh, I can't. Oh no, I have an itch on my nose and my hands are pooping.
So funny. You know what? I'm really happy that you've joined us during your massive cleaning day. So thanks for being here, even with your poop hands.
You're welcome. Well, I'm wearing gloves, but
gloves. Yeah, that's smart. I almost, when I took that drink, I almost dropped data.
I just started with these guys. By the time I'm done, these gloves will be a very different color.
Super gross.
Every time.
Super gross.
They're super gross.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to show Kata off for a second, then I'm going to put her back.
Kata.
She's a good girl. All right, young lady, here you go. What are you going to do? Oh, do you want to be out? I tell you what, you can free roam. How about that? What do we think of that? Austin, thanks for the super chat. Okay, Amy. Bye, Amy. Thanks for.
Gross. Bye.
Hey, you can't climb on the computer, lady. That's a problem. You can go back in your tub. That's fine. Okay. Austin, thanks for the super chat. Don't know if you see it, but the chat wants Kent merch. Yeah, you know what, you guys? I've been seeing that on Discord. I think on Discord, people have been talking about Kent merch, and we're going to do it. I got to talk to Amy about it because Amy is a brilliant designer, Amy, we need Kent merch. You don't have to say anything. Just, I know you can hear me. Thumbs up. We got a gloved thumbs up from Amy, you guys. So we're going to talk about some Kent merch. It'll be fun. I have some ideas. All right. Thanks, Augie, for reminding me, because I have been seeing people talking about that. Ghost01, thanks for the super chat. Watch for the total lunar eclipse tonight. Is it? I didn't even know that. Really? How have I not heard that yet? That's usually on my feed. Anytime there's some cool sciencey thing happening, it shows up on my feed. You know, like Neil deGrasse Tyson's talking about it or something. You know, Red Sonia, thanks for the super chat. So glad to be off work, so now I can watch instead of just listening. So glad to see you. Oh, I'm glad that you got off work while we were still in the live stream. Glad you're here, Red Sonia. Okay, we are almost 2.5 hours in, and I'm still not done with the Patreon questions on my clipboard yet. Usually we're long done with those, but we had a lot of them this time. And last month, we did a record for the length of the live stream and for the number of snakes shown in the live stream, because Amy was counting. We went over 3 hours. I don't think we'll go over 3 hours this time, but who knows? We still have a couple pages left of questions. I got to get on these questions, you guys. Here we go. You don't mind, right? You like hearing these questions and answers, right? I assume. Tell me if you don't, though, because let's see. Oh, we're almost done with this page. I think we can flip a page. Hang on. All right. The last question on this page is Phil's. Why does the cool side have a higher humidity than the hot side, according to the Govee thermometers, which are mounted on the inside glass in the middle? So the reason, Phil, is that your hot side, chances are you have an overhead heat source, and that dries up that side of the cage. So whether it's a CHE or a light or an infrared or something like that, dries up the substrate right over that. One thing that you can do is move your water dish to the warm side of the cage if it's not already, and that helps with the humidity a little bit. My other suggestion, though, is when you have your little Govee devices mounted on the side in the middle, that measures obviously the humidity in the middle of the cage. If you bring them down to where the snake is sitting, that gives you a better reading of what the snake is going to experience. It's going to be actually a little bit more humid closer to the substrate. So that's where you want those Govees. My Govees just sit on the substrate. I just put them. I have SwitchBot and Govee units, and I just put them on the substrate. I don't even. I used to mount them on the wall, but I don't even bother anymore. So it gives a better reading that way as far as what the snake is experiencing. Okay, we're on another page with this. Grace Corpse. You guys are already up for breaking another record. We broke a record last month. Okay, Red Sonia. So we were just talking to Red Sonia on here for a super chat, but now we're on to her question from Patreon. She's got a few. How long is your beard, and how much longer do you plan on growing it? You know what? We'll measure my beard. Let's measure it. So as far as how much longer, I trim my beard, so I don't grow it super long. When I feel like it's getting too long, like right now, it needs to be trimmed, because I either trim it when it's too long or when it's uneven. And right now I can tell it's uneven. So on this side right here is a little bit longer than this side. So probably tomorrow I'm going to take from about here down off. I mean, I'll shape it so it's not going to be straight, but it'll be about there. And I do trim it on a pretty regular basis. Let's measure, though. If I can find my tape measure. If I can't find my tape measure in a timely manner, you guys, we're going to bail on this idea. But, oh, it's right here. I measure stuff all the time, so I'm always trying to figure out about moving cages and stuff like that. So I always have a tape measure to see how long my walls are, stuff like that. So I'm saying that we're going to measure from about here down. This doesn't give us good measurement because like the beard here ends right about here. It's not, you know, but still this is where we measure from. All right, there to here. So I would say we are, what is that? Is that an 8? Yeah. So I'd say we're at about just over 8 inches, 8.5 inches, 9 inches at the longest part on this side. This long part is 9 inches. We're cutting that off though. Hang on, I got a text. Let's see if, okay. Okay, that's my neighbors. It's just my neighbors. We chat back and forth. Okay. Yeah, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. I think we're. Oh, okay. Kylie's Critters, thanks for the super chat. Got to go night now. Thanks for the stream. I hope you're still here. Let's see. You sent that. Oh, just a couple minutes ago. Thanks for being here, Kylie's Critters. Hope you have a great night. I promise we won't do anything too exciting that you'll miss. How about that? Such a great way to promote my live stream. We're not going to do much exciting, you guys. It's going to be pretty low key at this point. What snakes do you guys want to see while we're going through this? Give me your snake suggestions. There's some that we've already seen that I'm not going to pull out. There's a couple that are paired up right now, but most of the snakes are available. Oh, I also said we were going to try to feed the inspector, so maybe we'll do that in a minute too. Peter wants to see Eric the Murderer. Banjo, Delilah. Delilah's easy. We'll do a couple of these real quick. Well, hi, Mama. I see you. I see you. Come here. Let's just show you off real quick because you're so pretty. You're so pretty. Let's just show you off. Here's this girl. She's been free roaming a little bit. She's very seasonal with her roaming. She's a great free roamer, and she likes to periscope when she's out. She cruises all over and likes to periscope. But for most of the year, she's just in her hide. She just wants to hide. So, but man, what a pretty, freeway, pastel freeway, adult, full on adult, just still so pretty. I just love the freeway morph. We're going to have some freeways later in the year. We're going to have some baby freeways from this lady and from hopefully a couple others. So it's going to be a freeway heavy season if these girls lay eggs. All right, Mama, you can go back in your hide. There you go. Okay, so that's that one. We were saying Banjo. Let's see what Banjo's up to. He ate a couple days ago. He had a pretty good sized meal a couple days ago. Hang on. Let's see if we can find this guy. Oh, I see him right now. I know where he is. Okay, buddy, we're going to leave you alone. No problem. I got no problems with you. We're going to leave you alone right now. So Banjo is in shed, which is what I was thinking maybe happened after he took that big meal. And he gets real defensive in shed. He is not comfortable with anything happening when he's in shed. He bluff strikes. I mean, I don't know if it's a bluff strike or not. I assume it is because he's never made contact. But he will jump his entire body at anything that moves when he's in shed. So we're not pulling him out because he is nuts. And when he's not in shed, he's just delightful, like no problem. but that shed is a huge thing for him. Just completely changes his personality. Hang on one second. Let me just catch up here. Joshua, we had Handsome Dan out earlier. It's been a pretty big long live stream, so there's been stuff that's happened. Yeah, there's other people that are asking for Handsome Dan. He was out earlier, so if you go back and watch the earlier situation, you'll see Handsome Dan. There's Freya, Tiger Lily. Freya's available. Tiger Lily is breeding right now, but Tiger Lily's mom is Freya. Hi, Mama. Look at you. You're just out and ready for it, huh? Okay. Come here, big girl. Oh, my goodness. Why are you so big? Why are you so big, huh? Come here. Look at this lady. How pretty is she, right? Let's compare her to her other daughter who's not currently breeding right now. Dolly. Dolly I had out earlier as well. Dolly was the first snake that I had out, for those of you who've been here the whole time. But look at this. Dolly's smaller, but looks very similar. Two very similar looking snakes. But look at their back. Look at their dorsal. There's a massive difference in their dorsal. Let's see. Let me try to turn them. You see that? So still different genetics here. Freya is Calico Orange Dream Extreme Gene. And Dolly is Calico. Hang on. What is Dolly? Dolly's Calico Asphalt. I don't remember what else. Oh, Spot Nose. Calico Spot Nose Asphalt. I think maybe Spot Nose is what's giving Dolly the dorsal pattern that Freya doesn't have. Wait, got to go this way. When I look on screen, everything's backwards. So I think that those light patches on the dorsal is Spot Nose. But I'm not a Spot Nose expert. I could be wrong, you guys. Whenever I talk about morphs, like identifying morphs, if I'm talking about the science behind certain morphs, I've done my research. But if I'm just talking about what I see, a lot of times I'm wrong. If I'm selling a snake, I do all the research on Morph Market. Like I try to look at all the snakes on Morph Market and get a pretty good sense of what the morphs are, because I'm not a morph expert, and I want to be able to represent my snakes correctly. But if I'm just talking off the top of my head, I could totally be wrong. But I do think that is Spot Nose that's giving her that thing. But man, look how big Freya is. She's breeding right now, so she's big mama. Elizabeth, thanks for the super chat. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any before that, since we've been doing these shenanigans. Okay. All right. Let's see. Elizabeth, Bob, how old / big is Handsome Dan, and what prey size do you feed him? We were talking about that earlier, actually. Thank you. And don't forget to smash the like button, everybody. Yeah. Hit like if you haven't done that, you guys. As long as you like it, as long as you're enjoying it. Thanks for that, Elizabeth. So Handsome Dan is almost 3 years old, and I have fed him medium rats before, but we're back to smalls. Where he gets a small rat every 3 weeks at this point. And, you know, I might move him back up to mediums at some point. I might move him to every 2 weeks. It kind of depends on his body condition, as far as what he gets and what I feed him and how long he waits, you know. But right now it's a small rat every 3 weeks. So that's, other than ball pythons are usually pretty steady as far as what I feed. You know, once a ball python gets to medium rats, we're going every 2 weeks, unless they're in breeding season. You know, then I go weekly for the females. But there's general guidelines that work really well for pretty much all ball pythons, but there are other snakes that you change what you're going to feed them and how long it's going to be until their next meal based on their body condition. And if you understand, if you have an understanding of what that species body condition should look like, you can then just make those decisions on each feeding, what they're going to get. You know, Maya, I decide whether I'm going to feed Maya a medium rat or a 3-week-old quail, based on her body condition and what she's acting like and stuff like that. You know, I'm putting Freya back, by the way, you guys. She's going back. She just wants to hide. She's in breeding season right now. Joshua, if you go back and watch the episode, you'll see the house snake. That's Harry. He was featured early in the show, early in the live stream. Okay. So Freya's going back. Freya's kind of in nesting mode right now, so I don't want to have her out for too long. I do miss Freya. I really like having her with me. She's kind of like Damara in that I like having those two snakes out and about or with me or whatever. And Freya's in breeding season, so I don't see her very often. You know, I check on her every day, but really I don't pull her out. I don't have her come. She's not asking to come out, you know. So anyway, that was nice to bring her out for a minute. Here we go. Back to the Patreon questions. So Red Sonia had asked about the beard. She has 2 other questions. Can you tell us about your house snake, Harry? Yes, we already showed him, talked about him, so I handled that question already. Harry's doing good. He must be in one of his hides. I can't see him right now. Do you have any contingency plans if there comes a time when you can't take care of your snakes? Yeah, I mean, I have talked to my 3 sons, my adult sons, about if I were to die, get a bus accident. Wouldn't be a car accident, right? I would be hit by a bus. That's how I assume the end will come. But who knows? If that bus runs over me, my kids will have the snakes. I have not talked about whether I just become incapacitated, but I assume it would be the same thing. Let's hope that doesn't happen, the incapacitation or death. Like, let's hope that I never die or become incapacitated. One of those might be wishful thinking, but we'll see. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. Are you feeding quail and chicks to everyone? No, definitely not. I feed my ball pythons what they are willing to eat, which is almost all of them on rats, and 1 or 2 of them are on mice, and they don't eat rats, so I feed them mice. But I have one time, I think only once, I fed a chick to a ball python, and it was Delilah, because I had an extra leftover chick. I don't remember why. It was a long time ago. It was when like one chick was a good meal for Delilah. So she was young. And I knew that it would be no problem because she eats everything all the time. And she ate that chick, and it was interesting. But my other snakes, my black-headed pythons, my super dwarf retics, to an extent, my boa, well, he eats birds. He doesn't eat reptilinks, though. He doesn't like them. But they all get a varied diet of whatever they'll eat. So fish, reptilinks, birds, rodents, all kinds of stuff. And I'm not worried about them just going off of certain foods like a ball python. So for a ball python, they get what they like. And that's kind of what I do. Hang on, I'm making sure that. Okay. Got it. All right. Let's see. Zara, so let's see. Amy, I know you're working on something, but and no rush, but this question is for both of us from Azara. Leprechauns leave gold at the end of the rainbow. What would you and Amy leave? So I'll answer mine, and then Amy, whenever you're ready, I'll put you on and you can answer yours. It doesn't have to be anytime soon, though. No pressure. At the end of the rainbow, I would leave, if I were a leprechaun, I mean, look, I would leave snakes at the end of the rainbow, for one thing. I might leave a poster from the 1980s of Pamela Anderson that I had on my wall as a kid, as a young teenager. I might leave that poster and snakes at the end of the rainbow. Amy, do you have an answer for this that you want to? She just shrugged. Can I put you on since you're sitting down in front of the camera now?
Yeah.
Oh, look at your target. Oh, were you just feeding Dodger?
Yeah. I should hang on. Give me a second. Let me close the glass. Probably a good idea before she just comes out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wait, did she eat? You targeted her and she ate?
Yeah, she's eaten 2 of her 5.
Nice. By the way, let me just say this before you answer. I get a lot of questions of where I get my targets, and people have seen me target training my carpet pythons. Amy, show your target. Yeah. They always want to know where I bought that. Amy 3D printed that target, that exact target for me. And then we just put the little green disc on a collapsible stick that we get on Amazon. That's how it happens. I have other targets that I've made or whatever, but the coolest one is that one that Amy 3D printed. So that's it. You have to become really good friends with Amy. She'll 3D print you one, or find somebody that can 3D print you one of those. All right, Amy, what would you leave at the end of a rainbow?
We're going to learn how to model 3D printing, and we're going to put your logo on them somehow.
Come on, that'd be
way
awesome.
cool. But we have to learn how to model 3D. We have to learn how to actually do the modeling first.
Brady, listen to me. That is priority. I know Brady's watching right now. That is priority. You got to get my logo on that thing. That's awesome.
Brady and I, with our abundance of spare time.
I know. I know you don't have any spare time. Brady doesn't either. But I feel like
she knows she's not done. You can't see her, but her face is right. I'm not going to do it with the target. Her face is right here. Just she's like poking her nose out of the hide, like, I know you're not done feeding me yet. What would I mean, aside from these, I'm gonna leave these at the end of the rainbow.
Targets.
Say probably tacos or macaroni and cheese. That's what I want. I'm gonna leave meals at the end of the rainbow.
Okay, that's a great answer, but do you know what I think would be a better answer for you? I think you're gonna leave belly dancing clothes, belly dancing bras, and jingly things that you make.
I mean, maybe,
because it's very
leave those anywhere. Those are expensive. If you can find the end of the rainbow, though, it'd be a really good reward.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, so would tacos and macaroni and cheese.
Oh no, it's of course, especially the mac and cheese that you guys have, the black mac and such. All right.
I do. Yes.
Look,
this. I do. Still have a 3D print file.
Poor Girl's Guide to Survivor says Jack, 3 years old, wants to say hi to Amy.
Hi, Jack.
It's so nice.
Thanks for saying hi to me.
I thought wasn't Jack going to bed a long time ago, or was that somebody else? I think that
feel like that was happening.
Yeah, but I'm glad Jack is still up and saying hello to Amy. That's really nice. And also, Katie, thanks for the super chat. I see your question right here. Forgot to type my question. I have quail for my rat snake. Think my Colombian rainbow boa will take them? Yeah, I do. I think your Colombian rainbow boa would probably take quail. I'd give it a shot and see.
That's right.
And tacos. Try tacos also. All right, my camera just went dark again. It's all right. Okay, thanks for your input, Amy. Wait a second. Are you in the middle of target training, Dodger? Are you are you feeding multiple prey items? That was my question. So what do you give us details? What are you feeding? How many?
So I only have one snake that eats reptilinks. So, and reptilinks, you have to have a certain dollar amount in your shopping cart before you check out.
Right.
So I'm feeding. These are not the smallest ones, but they're really close. So these are frog. Some of them are frog, and some are frog and quail.
Those are 25-gram reptilinks.
And because she is growing very quickly, she gets 6 of these now every time.
That's like Banjo. He gets a bunch.
Once a week.
Yeah, but here Elizabeth is saying something to you. Hi, Amy. Just finished cleaning Mr. Ripley's enclosure. You're not alone.
Nice.
So
well, I just filled up the water tanks for the tortoises and went, oh crap, I forgot to feed Dodger. And Dodger puts herself to bed. And it's really hard to get her, even when there's food involved, like it's really hard to get her out of bedtime to eat. But I'm like, I'm not wasting these. These are expensive. You need to come out and eat.
Yeah.
But
Elizabeth,
when she's tired, she doesn't target train very well when she's like already in bed. She's just like, give them to me. And if you're gonna make me come out, I don't care.
Oh my gosh,
so,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you that Banjo, first of all, it looks like Riley's in from Riley's Reptiles. Hey, bud. You guys check out Riley's Reptiles if you're into carpet pythons and such like that. He breeds some awesome stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys a spoiler. That's, I think, next week's video has to do with the babies, the clutch that I just had. So I tried to feed them a little bit early, like earlier than I normally would offer a first meal. And I have 13 babies, and I thought out 7 hopper mice that I thought, you know what, if whatever hopper mice I have left over, I'll give them to Banjo, my smaller black-headed python. And spoiler alert, I only got 1 baby to eat. So I had 6. I had a bowl. Like, I just put the bowl in his cage, and he's fine eating 6 hopper mice. That's he's a 650-gram, 700-gram black-headed python, so he's fine eating that much. But it was like a bowl. It was like giving him a bowl of cereal. Like a whole bunch of little hopper mice to take care of. Okay, Amy, I'm going to pull you off because you're off doing your feeding. Best of luck feeding that little one. I feel like we want to watch this though.
You gotta come out though. Come on. Oh.
Is she coming out?
I don't know if you can see her, but her face is already here. Come here. Look at this. Right here. Come on. I know. Come on. She's
I feel like we can't.
All the way out. She's got her head all the way up. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I mean, we can barely see, but I feel like we're going to be able to see once she feeds her. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Now we can see. I have a smaller view than everybody else. Oh, yum. Yeah, we got a false water cobra feeding. Thanks, Amy.
Sort of. Sorry you were so far away.
That was cool. All right, I'm going to pull you off.
Bye.
Bye. That was fun. Okay. We got a couple super chats here, and then we're still not through with the Patreon questions. Catherine, thanks for this super chat. Enclosure cleaning tips, opinions on a shop vac. You know what, Catherine? We talked about a shop vac earlier. That's so funny. This is probably the first live stream I've ever done where we've talked about a shop vac, but we did talk about it earlier. Shop vacs are great. What I mentioned earlier is that I have a shop vac that I really like, but the hose isn't big enough because it's not a massive industrial size one. So what I would love is to have a hose where I could just suck up all the substrate, just, but it doesn't do that. It gets jammed. So I scoop out the substrate and then I use a shop vac to suck up everything else. It's great. I really like it. Douglas, thanks for the super chat. Bob, you're awesome. Oh, that's really nice. Thanks. This is going to seem like a lie, but I swear on anything, I just made tacos 5 minutes ago, and I took one bite out of my two tacos. So you stacked your tacos and took one bite? I mean, I don't feel like it seems like a lie. I feel like you did that. I don't think you can make that up, but congrats on the tacos. I'm sure this happened right as we were talking about tacos. And that's why you're typing it. I love a good taco. Mexican food is the best. Ghost 01, thanks for the super chat. Ash Vacuum here. Is that I don't know about, I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know Ash Vacuums, but that's cool. Looks like I need to learn about something. Poor Girl's Guide to Survival. I like that handle. Jack is fighting Tong sleep. Both my boys, Bob's voice soothing, and dripped off listening to Green Room videos. That's really cool. I feel like there are some people that have said that they feel like I have a soothing voice. I don't hear it, but it makes me think that I should have a podcast of some sort. Maybe it's not a reptile podcast because I already have Green Room Pythons. Maybe it's a podcast about something else. But there seems to be a small handful of people that enjoy listening to me talk, which is so weird because I don't. But maybe a podcast would be cool. I don't know. We'll see. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. If you guys think I should have a podcast, put what it should be about. What should my podcast be? Jenna, thanks for this. I get a ton of BS when I discuss feeding multiple prey items during target training, not just ball python groups, but also my breadlight. Oh, that's interesting that breadlight people have a problem with it. What can we do to discuss the pushback on operative behavior training? So, the thing is that people hear that, and this is true, it's best to feed one prey item that's appropriately sized for the snake. But it's not that big of a deal. It's not a huge thing. And this is the thing, especially new keepers, they don't know yet what's like a hard and fast rule and what's a general suggestion most of the time. There are many things that are good to do most of the time, but you can fudge it, So for a ball python or for any snake, feeding them an appropriately sized meal, one meal item, is kind of the best practice generally. But let's say you're out of smalls, but you have weaned. You've got a bag of weaned, but you're out of smalls, and it's time for your snake to eat. Give them 2 weaned instead of 1 small, or give 2 smalls instead of 1 medium. If you're target training and you want to have a little bit of repetition, do a couple things. If you have a black-headed python, which pretty much will take care of any food you want, that you have left over, give them whatever you have left over. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Maya usually gets 1 medium rat or 1 quail, 3-week quail-ish, like you saw her get. But sometimes I give her multiple prey items. Banjo the other day got 6, I think. Because I thought out 7. So he got 6 hopper mice. So he just got a bunch of one thing in his belly. Pretty good sized meal for him, but it was, it's fine. But the thing is, I just don't argue with people about it. I know that they're probably a new keeper, and they're just, they've heard these rules, and it's hard to know what's a hard and fast rule and what's not. And one of the reasons when I talk about things on my channel, I try to explain the why, like why we have this rule, so that people can understand what's a hard and fast rule and what can be fudged a little bit sometimes, or maybe in your snake's case, it can be fudged all the time for some reason, There's a lot of that. There's a lot of gray area. And also people in those Facebook groups and Reddit groups love to be right. They love to be but actually guy or girl. It's not only guys. It's a lot of guys though. Well, actually, which is really fun to deal with. Catherine, thanks for the super chat. Also, Bob, Max is here, and he did let me get a boa last year, as you saw. So thanks so much for your help in that. Caspian, my BCI is amazing. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Congrats on that boa. I'm glad that you were able to get that. That's fantastic. Let's see. Okay. I think we're caught up. We can go back to these Patreon questions. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Brianna of Making and Wandering has 3 questions. At what point in your life did you get into snakes? I think I remember a video when you were up visiting your sister and nephew, and you guys were talking about your mom coming around to snakes. So I gather you must not have had them as a kid. No, I did. I mean, I had a snake as a teenager, and mom never had a problem with them. It wasn't that she came around to snakes. It's just that she has gotten interested in snakes since I've had the channel, because she watches every Green Room Pythons video that I put out. Whether if it was snake related or not related, my mom would watch every video that I did, because she's awesome and supportive. And my dad watches too, but my mom's into it, as you guys know. And so because she watches all these videos, she's now like, she knows a lot about snakes and she really likes it. So, but she never had she was never a mom that was afraid of snakes. Like when I was a kid, I was allowed to have reptiles. It was fine. It just, she didn't have a huge interest in them. She knew that I was interested, and she was supportive of that because I have cool parents like that. And then the next question is, there's a little Bob running around out there. I'm guessing that was, I told Patreon, I showed Patreon which snake my son Brandon picked out of the clutch, because he's getting one. Brandon is 28 years old. He is at the University of Cincinnati getting his PhD in criminal justice, and he wants a ball python. So I told him he could have the pick of the clutch. In fact, I'll show you that snake. I'll show you which one he picked out. But so I have 3 little Bobs running around, but they're not really. I have 32-year-old twins and a 28-year-old. So 33-year-old twins and a 28-year-old. Is that right? Yeah. So they're not that little. Let me show you before we go. I'll show you which one Brandon's getting. So this is interesting, you guys, because my kids don't watch my videos really. If they want to talk to me about snakes or anything else, they can pick up the phone and call me. And hey there, little one. So they know a little bit about snakes. They had lizards when they were kids. We had lizards, but we didn't have any snakes when they were kids. And so there's a lot of crazy morphs in this clutch, but the one Brandon was drawn to, this is just a little orange dream baby, who is awesome looking, but it's a dark snake. And a lot of people, I'm more drawn to dark snakes too, but he had the pick of the clutch. And instead of picking one of the crazy bright banana morphs or anything like that, he was like, give me that dark one, which I think is a great choice. Super pretty snake. Like, especially one thing the Orange Dream does, people talk about the orange coming up in Orange Dream, and this one doesn't have a huge expression of orange. But the other thing Orange Dream does that I think is really cool is it gives the dark black backs. This black here is normally in a normal ball python is more of a dark brown, and it just makes it black with Orange Dream, which is cool. So this little guy is going to Brandon, and I'm excited about that. Let's see. So I'm working on. I'm working with all these snakes. I posted a video on Patreon of what I do, I just rolled the camera as I worked with some snakes that were at the front of the tub, you know, checking out my hand and stuff like that. And I talked about it. I'm going to do more of that and post it on Patreon, because that first video I thought was going to be really boring. It was 9 minutes long. And I was like, you guys, if you don't want to watch this, don't watch it. But I thought I'd post it. And I got a lot of feedback from people saying that they watched the whole thing. They really liked it. So I'm going to do more of those socialization things where I just roll camera on me working with these snakes. But this one, I definitely want socialize. This one's a little bit shyer than the rest of the clutch. So I just want him or her, this is a female. I want her to be really, really used to being handled and such before she goes to Brandon. Danielle, thanks for the super chat. How's your nephew snake doing? That's Luna. And Luna's doing great. Luna's good. I check on Luna every time I'm in Seattle. We do. Oftentimes I'll clean the cage or whatever, you know, while I'm there. But Luna's doing good. Luna peed on my mom. So the one time that my mom got peed on by a snake, it was Luna. So she's doing good though. Fish Sticks, thanks for the super chat. Bob's bedtime stories. Oh, that's great for a podcast. tell bedtime stories. Is it made up stories or is it true stories? Is it true crime? Is it Bob's true crime bedtime stories? Oh my gosh, that might be the thing, you guys. I mean, there's a lot of true crime podcasts out there. I don't know that we need another one, but you know, I read the entire chat the next day after a live stream, you guys. So whatever ideas you're putting in there, I'll see them and I appreciate them. Okay. So I think, let's see. Oh, Brianna is also asking, do you think you'll ever take the fire juggling to Renaissance Fair outside of the West Coast? So for those of you who don't know, my day job is that I'm a touring comedian. I have a show that I wrote that I perform primarily at Renaissance fairs. That's like in character, and I juggle flaming battle axes and stuff like that. And because the channel is kind of become my main thing, I'm paring back the festivals that I do. And before, like before COVID, I was doing about 30 weekends a year of festivals, and I was trying to keep it on the West Coast. Although I did Texas, I would do Texas Ren Fair, and I did a festival in Utah. Shout out Amy Bentley, because that's where we met at that festival. But I now pared it down. You know what? I thought this year that I was only doing like 9 or 10 weekends this year, but now I've been contacted by a couple festivals that I really like in the last week. And so now I'm doing 14 or maybe 15 this year, which is a lot. It's more than I expected to be doing, but I love all these festivals. They're all great and it'll be fun, but they're all on the West Coast. So 2 in California, and then I'm doing a bunch of weekends in Oregon and Washington. So that's a long way of answering your question. No, I don't think I'll be going outside the West Coast because I'm keeping it in the West Coast and I'm trying to do less and less each year. Even though I love to do it, I still want to do some, but you know, this channel is my main thing, and making videos, and especially traveling to make videos, takes a lot of time. You know, I'll be traveling very soon. Dave Kaufman and I are hitting the road and going to the Caribbean. We're actually hitting the air and going to the Caribbean. Amy, why do we have, why the thumbs down?
Oh.
What's that all about? Is it because you're not going to the Caribbean?
Did you just put me on? I'm so sorry. Can you pause? Can you? Hang on.
Look, if you're going to sit there with thumbs down on the screen, I'm going to put you. Well, now I'm hearing double.
I know. Can you, is it okay now?
I don't know. Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I'm sitting in the living room, and like 3 feet from me is that direction is my television that's playing. But because I'm in StreamYard on my computer is like a full 6 seconds ahead.
Okay, I understand. I get it. I get it. But I just want to know why the
You put
thumbs
me
down.
on and I was like, wait a second. I was putting thumbs down because I'm really upset still. I'm never gonna not be bitter that you're not coming to my Renaissance fair.
Oh, it's the Renaissance Fair. It's not the Caribbean trip. It's that I'm not doing the Renaissance Fair.
No, it's not the Caribbean trip. Go on, go. That's gonna be so fun.
I get it. I get it. Okay, I'm going to remove you so that I can talk and not have the feedback.
Okay, bye.
So I love the Renaissance Fair that Amy does in Utah. That Amy has a belly dancing troupe that she does, and I really love that Renaissance Fair. But there's one that I do that I have to do that's in Oregon, that is multiple weekends in a row, and it coincides now with that Ren Fair, so I can't do that one. That's what she's talking about. So let's see, more super chats. Ghost01, thanks for that. Please read Name of the Wind. I will read that book. I think we were talking about that last time. Hang on. Oh, little one, you're okay. I gotta hang on to this snake. She's fine. Sometimes snakes fall. You good little one. I'm sorry that happened to you. That was probably scary. And let's see. So Name of the Wind, yes, I will read. Jen says global snake myths, bedtime stories. Oh, just so I've got to come up. So I have to have a new myth each week. Man, I got to figure out what to set on my camera so it doesn't do this. Sorry about the darkness, you guys. So I got to come up with a new myth each week and talk about a full thing. Okay. It might be challenging. That one might be challenging. Elizabeth, thanks for this super chat. How do I get my rats apart if they're frozen together? I only need one and the struggle is real. So if they're stuck together like that, that means that they may have been slightly thawed out and then refrozen, which could be concerning. They shouldn't be so stuck together that you can't easily pull them apart. But, it would be thaw them out enough, thaw them for 20 minutes so that you can at least get them apart, maybe only 10 minutes, something like that. And then as soon as they're apart, refreeze, put the other one back in the freezer. So what I'm going to do, I was going to put this guy back or this girl back right away. But since she fell, that was kind of scary for her. I don't want to do a scare. I've talked about this in videos before. I don't want, since she just had a scary experience, I don't want to do the scary experience and then put her back. I want her to kind of forget about that, go back to normal exploring, and then put her back because we want to end on at least a neutral experience. Jesse, thanks for this super chat. Bob, you are the man. Oh, that's nice. Thanks. Thank you for all the great info in all your videos. My ball pythons are grateful to you as well. Oh, that's really nice, Jesse. I appreciate that. I'm glad the videos have been helpful for you. Trying to back up to see if that will fix the lighting. It doesn't. Doesn't. It's so crazy. There we go. I just put a ton of lighting on my face. Now, this is like scary bedtime story lighting. Oh, there we go. Oh, shoot. Maybe not. Yeah. So it's not the lights in my house. It's the camera that's just deciding to do that. Anyway, Jesse, thank you for that super chat. I appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat and the kind words. Okay. This girl seems to be doing well after her tumble. I'm going to put her back really quick. All right. Oh, and we're back to dark mode. Perfect. Sorry, guys. If I knew how to run equipment, if I knew what all the buttons were on the camera, I'd fix this. If somebody knows how to fix this thing, you know what it is? I need to have it on, right now it's on like some sort of auto situation where it automatically adjusts to what it thinks I should have. I got to turn that off, whatever it is. Okay. I mean, Fizzy, you might be right. Kent's obviously not here right now, but maybe he's figured out how to control the lighting somehow remotely. I don't know. Okay, we're back to this. Here we go. Taylor says, got a 6-month corn snake from PetSmart. First night, wife and I were touching him. He was jumping defensively. He hasn't struck at all, even throughout the travel. Jumped out of his tank the first night. Got him back in. I'm super worried that he's going to be scared or take a while to be held. He seems to be interested in me, but more scared of my wife. Long story short, besides the slow introductions of my hand and letting him... Oh, is there anything else I can do other than the slow introduction? Okay, I get it. So, I mean, you got a corn snake that's new. Corn snakes are very jumpy and flighty anyway. They're fast, which is kind of just how corn snakes are, as opposed to ball pythons that are slow moving typically. And no, it just takes patience on your end. They're going to be a fast moving snake. They're going to spook easily. And just, that's pretty much it. I mean, you can use the same techniques that I talk about in my videos on how to socialize a snake, a python. You can use those same things with corn snakes as well. And it'll work eventually. They're a little flighty though. Poor girl, thanks for that reminder. Let's feed the inspector and then we'll get back to these questions. Let's see if we can get him out, first of all, because I have, the room doesn't have a rodent smell really right now. So let's get, I see him. He's in his cold side hide currently. Got this rodent in a bag. I'm going to put it in the bowl and we'll hit it with a hairdryer. Might take him a minute to come out, but he's usually out looking for it as soon as he smells. Oh, you know what we do? I have an idea. We'll open this side of his cage. That'll make him curious. And it'll get the scent in there better. Okay. Oh, I don't want these tongs. I need big ones. Here we go. You guys, don't be afraid to have big tongs, and even bigger tongs than these if you have bigger snakes. With my snakes, I'm okay with that. Sam, I think we already talked. I think you said this in the Patreon question, right? Can you tell number 5 I said hi? I definitely told number 5. I pulled number 5 out earlier. Was that your thing? Because I'm pretty sure you're the one who said that. Tell number 5 I said hi. Yes, for sure. Number 5 is a fan favorite. I'm going to talk while the hairdryer is going, and I assume you guys can still hear me. Number 5 is one of the babies, for those of you who just arrived. There are 2 favorites in this clutch of 13. And number 5 is one of those favorites. I already see the inspector bringing his head out. He's already popping his head out. You guys can't see it yet, so I'm going to wait till he starts in with his body. But this will eventually make its way over to his little tongue and his Jacobson's organ. And he will be out looking, and then we'll feed him. Willie's here, you guys. Hi, Willie. I don't know how long you've been here. Maybe you just got here. No, I don't use that hair. I don't use any hair dryer on my beard usually, but I do have a really nice hair dryer that I bought for my beard when I thought I was going to be using a hair dryer on my beard, and it's a good quality hair dryer. I never use it. So I don't like my beard completely straight is the thing. Willie, earlier in the, like 2 hours ago, I talked about your channel. We were talking about your channel. We were talking about the video you put out today at More Willie, you guys, for those of you who weren't here when I was talking about it, at More Willie on YouTube. The video you put out today was great. It was really fun. All right, so the inspector is now out. He's moving around. I'm going to try to get him to get to a place where maybe you guys can see him from the camera. He's come all the way out now, and he's on the other side of the cage. So we'll open this door. Oh, buddy, what's this all about? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, what's this? You want to come out and grab it? You don't want to come out. There you go. He's such a striker. Oh, yum. There we go. You guys, I instinctively, you know how when you see any animal yawn, you have to instinctively say big yawn. I think everybody does that. I instinctively say, oh, yum, whenever a snake takes a meal. If I'm by myself or people are around, whatever, as soon as a snake strikes, I have to say, oh, yum, in the same vein as me saying big yawn for any animal that yawns. Dogs, snakes, anything. Okay. I have several other snakes that are going to get fed tonight, but you won't be able to see them. So we'll do that after the live stream ends. Hey, Amy, can I put you on really quick to ask you a question? What was the time? We're not even trying to go for a record today, but we have so many questions and we've gotten so many super chats. We might break last weekend's record. What do you remember what the time was on last weekend's?
Find out really fast. I don't know. I don't have a mouse down here.
Okay, flag me when you know, and I'll bring you back on.
I think it was okay. I'll flag you when I know.
Okay. All right. So we'll get to the next question. Oh, the inspector brought his. Oh, he hasn't quite. He's just. I don't know if you guys can see that. I have a smaller view than. Oh, I can make my. You can barely see it. Okay. He's eating though. All right. Where are we here? Okay, Yeti Bibby says, hi, Bob. I have trouble keeping my humidity high enough for my ball python. I think I can't get the ratio of water to cocoa husk, and I don't want to be soaking. I don't want it to be soaking wet. Can you tell how you get it done? Thanks. Yes. So first of all, a thing that we talked about earlier in the episode, gotcha, Amy, I'll bring you on in just a second for that, is that you want to make sure that you're measuring it correctly. So you want to be using a device like like this, smaller than this, doesn't have to be this big, but a digital device, and you want it at the level of the substrate. So just sitting on the substrate is fine instead of halfway up the cage. So that's one thing. Another is make sure you're covering any screen top. And then you don't have to have the cocoa husk soaking, but it should be, you can moisten it enough that it'll give you the humidity you need. But a lot of times the problem is that it's not being measured correctly and it's giving you a false reading. Amy, what is the verdict here? What was the time last time?
3 minutes or 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
We got less than 7 minutes.
Yeah. And we still have questions here we're definitely going to break that record. Okay. Maybe nice. I need to start these live streams earlier. Should I? Okay, Amy, I'm going to pull you off. Thanks for looking at that. Oh, what were you saying? Were you saying something or were you just saying bye?
I said bye.
Okay. Kathy, thanks for the super chat. Let me know if you have a question to go along with that. But I appreciate that. Have I missed any super chats? I don't think so. I think we're good here. All right. So we're probably, Willie says do a 24-hour live stream. Willie, I will do a 24-hour live stream if you do it with me. I think you and I both should do a 24-hour live stream for charity. We'll pick some charity to do. And we'll do it at your house. And Zara says, yes, listen to Willie. We'll do it at your house because it'll be more fun for me. That's what we'll do. So we're showcasing your animals, not mine. Or, I mean, it's 24 hours. Look, we could start here and move to our phones and drive to your house, drive all the way out to Malibu, and then finish it at your place. That's the thing to do, man. I bet we could wrangle a bunch of people in. We're going to figure this out. Also, I think you jumped in late in this live stream, Willie, but we were talking about people want snake spies, and we were kicking around some good ideas the other day. I think we should do it. I've got, yeah. Anyway, okay, where are we at on this? I gotta be answering questions. We have so many questions here. Okay, Sarah Hinwood says, forgive me if as you've probably discussed this before, but I'm new here. How concerned are you with salmonella? The breeder I purchased my snake from said captive bred snakes don't carry it. On Google, it said they do, but owners in online threads said they don't worry about it. I run a food business from home, so I literally change and shower every time I hold him. How do you view this risk? Thanks. It's a great question, and I get it a lot. I have talked about it before, but I think it's important that people know. What I tell people is that I have kept reptiles my whole life, and I have had friends who have kept reptiles their whole life, my whole life. I don't know anyone personally who has ever contracted salmonella from a reptile. I know people who brought eggs from the grocery store home and got salmonella from their eggs, but never from a reptile. Reptiles can carry it. And it was a thing back especially in the 80s and 90s. Moms were always like, don't touch that snake or don't touch that lizard. You're going to get salmonella. It was a big scare. But it's so uncommon. It just really doesn't happen. So it doesn't mean it can't, but it's super rare. So I had another, since Willie's here, and Willie is Tara Strong's boyfriend, and he's a good friend of mine, and has that channel, More Willie. When Tara was done filming the episode that I hope you guys saw, it was a long episode, but I chose to make it long. I was hoping people would watch it. I think people have enjoyed it. But anyway, when Tara was done, because she knew that I was disappointed because she wasn't afraid of snakes anymore by the time she got to the green room. So when she was done, she goes, I can get you someone that's afraid of snakes. And she started sending texts. And then we went to lunch, and right after lunch, somebody was already booked who was afraid of snakes to come in and get over their fear of snakes. That video will be out in about a month or so, but it's another very famous voiceover actor. I'm not going to say who it is, but when she came in, she asked me about salmonella. And so I told her that, but I didn't mention much. I was just like, it's fine. They're clean. What I should have said is they're much cleaner than dogs and cats. They don't have the fur that traps the bacteria. As long as you keep the cages clean, they're actually very clean animals, whatever. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. So when we were done shooting the video, she goes, okay, where can I wash my hands? And I showed her, and then I realized as I'm doing stuff, I realized she's been washing her hands for a really long time. And I look, and she's going elbow to hands, like scrubbing up for surgery. I was like, oh, we didn't talk about this risk of salmonella or diseases enough to convince her. But her hands were cleaner than maybe they've ever been. So that's cool. But the fact is that it's not really a risk. Snakes are cleaner. Holding your snake is less of a health risk than petting your dog, I think. Unless you never clean your snake's cage and you keep them filthy, but that would be the same as keeping a dog or cat filthy. Then there's always bacteria, right? Okay. Lindsay says, I have a ball python who refuses frozen thawed weaned rats, but happily takes rat pups. She's a growing girl and it's time for her to go up a size. Any tips? Yes, my tip would be to keep offering the weaned rats. A lot of times people will will have the belief that their snake is refusing the size or they're refusing the color, which could happen, but it's very rare. In fact, it's never happened to me personally. I've never had a snake refuse a color, but it does happen sometimes. I think Amy's had one that refuses a color, but a lot of times people just assume that when their snake has refused a meal and then takes a meal all of a sudden. And sometimes it's a coincidence. So sometimes you might be feeding that trying to feed that weaned rat and they don't take it. And then as soon as you feed the rat pup, that's just the time that they decided to take a meal. And it's not the pup versus weaned. So I would just keep trying to feed the weaned because it's really uncommon. Again, never happened to me before that a snake would have a problem with a size of rodent. But I do hear it from people. There are a lot of people that say, yeah, my snake won't take a small, so I have to stick with a weaned, or they won't take a medium, so I have to stick with a small. I always say keep trying with that size because I think they'll take it. I bet they'll take it. Amy Olson, thanks for the super chat. I wash my hands before and after handling because my snakes don't know where I've been. That's really good. That's really good, Amy. Yes, definitely wash your hands. Amy Bentley is flagging me down.
Did you miss a super chat?
What's that?
I said, did you miss a super chat?
You're asking me if I missed a super chat? If I missed one,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, right? I don't think I have. Which
I
one?
mean, I don't know. Somebody posted missed super chat like a few seconds ago. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't paying attention. I had other things on my brain, and somebody said missed super chat, and so now I don't know. You're gonna have to.
Okay.
I'm
The
sorry, I
last.
wasn't paying attention.
That's all right. I just looked at like the last 6 or so that
Did you get them all?
and I've gotten the last 6 or so, but somebody please tell us if I missed a super chat further up than that. Let me know which one it was.
Sorry, I don't have my regular setup going on. I usually have my computer and my monitor and like
Wait,
I got a
Catherine
whole
Scott says
fancy setup.
yes.
I don't
Catherine
got
Scott
that
says,
today. I don't even have a computer mouse. It's very,
okay, hang
very
on.
difficult for me to scroll through
Okay,
super
hang on.
chats as they're still coming in.
All right. Hang on. So Catherine Scott says that I did miss a super chat. So now I'm going up to see. So Catherine, I see that you did a super chat at 7:59. Max is here and he did let me get a boa. We talked about that one. So was there one after that I missed? I don't think so. I think we've gone through
Did you
all
get the
of
one
the.
for Kathy Conway that doesn't have a question attached to it?
Yeah, I said to give me a
Okay.
question.
Did you address her question? I don't know if she posted one because
I didn't see that she
struggling to scroll.
posted one.
Okay.
I think I got them. So
If we missed your super chat, flag me down. I
Catherine said
promise I'm
she
gonna
didn't
pay
type.
attention now.
Catherine said she didn't type it in her chat. Yeah, no, we did address that, but I didn't see I didn't see that a question was ever typed. Okay. Thanks for the heads up on that. But yeah, I just didn't see that a question was typed. If there was, type it again, and then Amy's going to see it and flag me. Okay.
Sorry for being a slacker. Oh, apparently she was asking about Ren Fair in Oregon.
Oh, Ren Fair in Oregon.
Or
Okay.
was it? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see
Again,
that. Catherine,
the
she was asking about Ren Fair in
chat's
Oregon.
just flying for me. So
What? She asked where and when is the Oregon show? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I got it. Thanks, you guys. I will answer that in just a moment. Okay. Amy, I'm going to remove you. So the Oregon Ren Fair is in Canby, which is just south of Portland. And it is, I'm going to give you the exact dates. It starts June. It's Saturdays and Sundays, and it starts the first weekend of June, the 7th, and it ends the 29th. So it's all of June, every weekend of June. That's it. In Canby, Oregon. That's the Oregon Renaissance Fair. And it's a really fun one. And it's beautiful. It's it takes place just in the fairgrounds, the Canby Fairgrounds. but the fairgrounds are forested. There's giant pine trees. So it's like you're in a forest at this Ren Fair. It's beautiful. It's great. I really like it. Rains a lot, but the people in Portland they know that if they're going to go outside at all, they're going to deal with rain. So it still will sell out and be packed it'll be at capacity where they can't let any more people in on a day that it's thunderstorms. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's super fun. I really like it. Okay. We're on the last page of this, you guys. It's 3:34, 3 hours and 34 minutes. We've already broken last week's record. I am considering starting earlier. Tell me, you guys, does it make sense for me to start I usually start at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Should I start at 4 p.m. Pacific time? Because I feel like more people are watching this live stream. I'm getting more questions each time. I'm getting more super chats. It's taking longer to get through it. And I think a lot of people have to go to bed long before I end. So should I start at 4, an hour early? Okay. Lindsay says, oh no, we got Lindsay's already. Andy says, what is the best way to really learn how to recognize the different morphs? I want to try doing my first clutch soon, but I don't know how to at least try to recognize, want to know how to at least try to recognize the morphs. I get it. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, Andy, because, the best way to do it is to look up those morph combos on Morph Market and just see what the different snakes look like. You can set it to, it doesn't have to be snakes for sale. It can be any snake that's already sold in the past, but you set the exact parameters of the, let's say 3 different morphs that you want, the combo, no less and no more than those morphs, and look at all the babies, because there's a big difference in what these babies can look like. So you start to look at the traits, and that's the best way to do it until you hatch out enough that you can see it. And then also you can look at it, if it's a morph, especially ones that are popular morphs, you can look up YouTube videos from people that are explaining how, what you're going to see in different things. But the problem is that, you get one morph that looks a certain way, and then you combine it with another morph and it looks totally different. So you have to understand how that morph reacts with this one, and how to identify it. It's tough. It's tough, but YouTube videos that explain things and Morph Market, understand, learn how to select that in Morph Market so you can see everything that's ever been sold in the past and only contains the morphs that you're looking for, without anything extra. Let's see. Suzanne says, enrichment ideas for semi-arboreal snakes. Yeah, anything like this. I have this, what I call a snake tree, but it was designed as a coat rack. But stuff like this for my semi-arboreal snakes. I have an entire wall that I've designed for my semi-arboreal snakes. And then I let them climb around on stuff. I also have instruments lined up across my wall that they like to crawl across. I mean, I free roam my snakes, but they like, semi-arboreal snakes are safe climbing up on things. I would not put a ball python on something like this, especially unsupervised, because as much as they like to climb up on things, they're not good at staying climbed. I always say they'll fall off stuff. So the nice thing about semi-arboreal snakes is they almost never fall off of things. They're really good at hanging on. So that's my recommendation. And then Suzanne's other question is, I know you're a Python guy outside of Handsome Dan and Dr. Harry Vanderspiegel, but any thoughts or info on the dwarf boa localities like Tarahumara? Yeah, I mean, I love the dwarf boas are the best, really, unless you're looking for something that gets really big. If you can keep it smaller, it's usually easier, and they're delightful little snakes. Tarahumaras are great. And I don't have personal experience keeping them, but I've interacted with them before. And from what it seems, from what I've seen, they're awesome snakes. I would get one. That's what I would say about that. Chris says, hi, Bob. My question is, have you seen the new Pink Panther albino morph in ball pythons yet? I mean, a pink ball python, what's not to love? Let's see. Pink Panther, I think that's a form of VPI axanthic. It's been around for a while, I think. And then you add albino to it, which would brighten it. I have the answer is no, I haven't seen it. But my guess is it's been around for a while, because I know Pink Panther has been around for a while. But there's also tons of like filters that people put on their snakes to make them super pink. And they might be calling that Pink Panther, but there is this actual morph that's a type of VPI axanthic, I think. I'm going off the top of my head. But there also might be pictures floating around that are not real of a super bright pink snake that they're calling Pink Panther. That might not be real, but I haven't seen it. So a Pink Panther albino, I'm sure, has happened, and it might be an actual real pink snake. That's cool. Tamara Nicholson says, have you ever thought of coming to Australia to check out our snakes? I know Dave has just been. Yeah, Dave just was there, and I was jealous. Yes, I've thought about it a lot. I've talked to some people about it. I would like for they have a reptile show, or a company that puts on reptile shows. I would love for that show to sponsor my trip to Australia. So I hope they're watching. Australian Reptile Show. I wish I knew the name off the top of my head. Please bring me out. I will get on stage and say stuff. I'll do a comedy show, or I'll talk about reptile, whatever you want. Just bring me out to Australia. Yes. It's my number one place that I want to go. It's very expensive, and it's easier to make it to South America or to the Caribbean. It's much cheaper. It's easier to go. Australia is a major trip, and I will get out there one of these days. Can't wait. I'm very excited. Here's another location question. Jackie is asking, will you come to the East Coast, but definitely more north than Florida? And another one that involves Dave. David been to the Carolina area. Could you come with him this year? Not this year. I will say that. Dave and I are doing a trip with Patreon. Any of our Patreon members who want to come, Dave is guiding a trip in Minnesota with us in a couple months. It's going to be a blast. We're going to spend a weekend. We've got a farmhouse to stay at and camp around, and we're going to go herping and find timber rattlesnakes and a bunch of other stuff. It's going to be great. So that's going to be the big Dave and I trip, other than the one that we're taking to the Caribbean very soon. And that'll be it. But yes, East Coast herping trips for sure. And north of Florida, absolutely. Yes. I'll do that at some point, probably not this year. Crisis Corpse, this is the last question from Patreon, you guys. We're getting through these. In under 4 hours, we're getting through these. Crisis Corpse says, last live stream was so much fun. Would you ever consider attending an expo in the San Francisco Bay Area? There are a few small, fun ones. Have a nice day. Yes, Crisis Corpse. I've been trying to get to the Sacramento Reptile Show, and I have not made it the last few years because things keep coming up. But absolutely, I want to come to San Francisco or Sacramento and do that show, because that's not hard to do. I live in Southern California. This would just be a quick trip to Northern California. Not a big deal. So I will do that at some point. Let's see. You guys, that was it with the Patreon questions. I think, unless there's anything that I've completely missed, have I missed anything? Have I missed showing a snake that you absolutely have to see before we end this almost 4-hour live stream? I hope those of you who are going to Tinley, I hope you guys have a great time. I'm jealous. I wish I was going to be there. Sam, I already showed number 5. You got here late. Number 5 was out. Zara wants to see Bear. We can do that. That's an easy one. Oh, buddy, you're in food mode. He's not an easy one. He's like, I smelled rodent. Hey, can we use a hook for you? How about that? Hey, come here. I don't have food for you. I'm sorry. Oh, you're just keyed up. Come here. Come here. Oh, you're also in shed. You're not going to get food for a while. Look at this. You're just starting to shed. You're like, dude, feed me before I go into my shed. Here's Bearsley. He's a little keyed up right now, but he's all right. There we go. There's Bear. Look, you guys, we're so late that the lights are starting to kick off. That's never happened in a live stream, I don't think. Never gone that late. Jen, thanks for the super chat. We're still getting super chats this late. In honor of the new record, I want to thank Bob for being such a great creator. Oh my gosh, that's so nice, Jen. My son called me last week from his friend's house who had gotten a snake from his dad's cousin. See below. Wait, is it this? Is this what we're saying? I found, oh shoot, there we go. I found it in a 40-gallon tank on Aspen with a half-log hide and dehydrated with a stuck shed. I gave them cocoa husk, thermometer, hydrometers, real hides, and got them all sorted. Got them hooked on you. Oh, that's great, Jen. That's awesome. I love it. I'm so glad that you got things sorted out for that snake. That's fantastic. Thanks for that super chat. That's really nice. Okay. So there's Bear. We're going to put him back, and he's going to be sitting there for about a week or so. Okay. You guys, this has been a long one. This has been a long one. If Willie and I do a 24-hour, or if I do a 24-hour, whatever, I'm not going to talk this much because I feel like I'm already losing my voice at 3 hours and 46 minutes. If we go 24 hours, there's going to be a lot of silence. It's going to be a lot of me just wandering around the room doing stuff, saying things occasionally, because I can't go at this level for 24 hours. That'd be nuts. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for all your super chats, all your awesome questions. Thanks to the Horde of Keepers, the Patreon members, for their amazing questions. Thanks to Amy for being here. Oh, Amy, I just put you up, but you're not there. I don't know why you're not there. Just hang on. I'm going to remove you. And now I'm going to try to add you to the stage again. Shoot. I don't know why. I was trying to have Amy here for the goodbye. All right, you guys. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you later.